Good old rematch. I mean, again, Penn State's a great team. Obviously, there's a lot of lore there, and we're not one to shy away from, like, fun conversation. And so I think it'll be a really good game, just really good atmosphere, too. The fans will be into it. Also, there's, like, a theme at play. So there's just a lot of hype around the match. And personally, I feel like this team does really well off that. So, yeah, I think it's mostly fun.
You guys could compare notes. Lawrence will try to answer, and he does. Jamarcus Lawrence with the three. And he has really shot the ball well.
Kaminsky with the empty set. Looks to his right, now he'll roll to his left. Has some movement in front if he decides to run. He's going to throw it up into the wind. Wide open is a 20, and caught Shada for the touchdown. What a play, Kaminsky to Shada. There's Van Slyke near the end zone, touchdown. Jack Van Slyke. And that will put a bow on it for Bishop Newman. Wide open over the middle again. A third touchdown strike from Tamala to Sack.
Kind of chalk it up to it is what it is. It wasn't our best day at the office, and we quickly have moved on to Iowa, but there's obviously still a lot of stuff to learn from it. And get better because of it.
Yeah, we're probably going to put a little bit more into it. You know, that's like some off-season stuff, and just looking at it, and you know how Coach Rule runs the program is we're trying to put ourselves in a position where we can win this game. Hadn't happened in a while. You know, we recognize that, we see it, we feel it. And, it means a lot to us to go out there and play this game.
Good morning. Welcome in. Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Central Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up, DB?
I'm good. What's going on with the whole split thing? Is that how we're doing it on the camera?
For the first segment, probably, because I know that everybody loves hearing about our technology problems, but the camera disconnected right before we came on.
Come on, camera.
I got to disconnect and then come back in after this break.
Yeah,
first
there we go. Look at that. We don't quite match. This is a long sleeve. You run the vest.
Oh, man.
You want me to take this one off so we look different?
Go home and change.
You want me to take this one off so we look different?
No, we're good.
We're
good.
I got a shirt on under, so it's all right.
I'm
a little upset with you, to be honest. A little bit.
I just got here, man. What now?
Well, I mean, I thought I asked you like a really interesting question last night over text, and you did not respond.
Oh, I don't know much about crack. I'm not a crack expert. Like, I had to become educated on crack on this show. I don't.
I'll explain where it came from because it probably seemed
to be out of left field.
So I'm scrolling on the phone. I can't remember if I was on Instagram or TikTok, whatever. And our favorite Lawrence Taylor sound popped up.
Yeah.
He's like in this interview and goes, well, you need to understand is it never affected my play.
Yeah, that's the clip Shane plays all the time.
And I saw it in the context of the greater interview.
The sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I didn't really know where it was from.
Yeah.
Right. I assumed it, but I saw it in that.
I sent that to Shane months ago. I was captivated watching that interview.
Because it certainly sounded like it was affecting him in that moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or something was.
Yeah.
So I thought about it. I was like, wait a second. Crack is an upper. And then I'm thinking about like, okay, you think of like meth heads and how they like have super strength and stuff like that. And I'm like, what if the crack actually helped Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Like I did some Google. I'll be honest. I went on a couple deep dives last night. One of them was on the effects of crack cocaine. The other one was on Matt Campbell to Arkansas. So I was having a wild night.
Wow. Matt Campbell to Arkansas. Did you feel like you were on crack?
I feel like the Arkansas people are on crack.
I don't know. I don't picture that being the.
They're out of they're out of their minds.
Yeah, it's gonna the coaching carousel is fantastic. But I thought, you know what I thought you were gonna say?
What's that?
I thought you were gonna say, I thought you were gonna be mad at me about the segment we were having about what was supposed to happen. What did we expect to happen?
Oh no, I'm not mad at you about that.
Because that would have been one where I could have easily. You know the funny thing about that? Shout out Sausha, I guess. You cut that, right?
No, I did not. That would have been Rico.
Okay.
Rico Suave.
So what people don't understand is I fight the industry all the time. It goes against my personality, goes against my natural disposition, but I play the game, right?
Yeah.
I play the game. I hate, as you know, those clips.
Yes, I know.
Because inevitably what happens is people will only listen to part of the clip, and then they'll have these crazy responses.
Mhm.
And
Based on 60 seconds out of a 3-hour show.
yeah, so I kind of know that going in
Mhm.
when I respond. So I don't typically get too bothered.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. People will be like, man, I'm just responding to what your folks put out. I was like, I don't like it either. But I do it. You know what I mean? Like, so clearly what it is what it's supposed to do,
Mhm.
I guess it does. But don't we tag that thing to say, like, watch it in its entirety?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Because that's
Every single time.
That's the actual goal, is to drive people back to the whole show.
Yeah. So I have to explain snippets of my philosophy.
Mhm.
I don't. The whole supposition was, why are we so mad about firing everybody?
Mhm.
Right. That was the original.
Or mad to the point where we're talking about.
Or
firing
mad to the
people.
point where
Yeah.
we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So I said, what did we want to happen?
Yeah.
Help me process.
What was the original expectation versus where we're currently at?
Now, there's like 3 different things in there.
Okay.
And number 1, my expectation level is right where I thought it was.
Mhm.
I said this would be the 8th game, playing for the 8th win with a chance to go to the bowl game.
Correct.
That was always my expectation level. That's what I said out loud.
Yep.
I was very, very, very specific.
Yes.
Now, if you wanted to get, I'm sorry, I'm hearing my voice back there. So it's like, now my opinions differ from the conversation.
Mhm.
Right? My opinions weren't telling other people how to have their opinions either. It was, where are we at? Walk me through it. I want to know.
Yeah.
So people would fire off questions and I would say, oh, that's it. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Understand.
Yeah.
That's one part of it.
Mhm.
So I had to defend that, and that gets killed. Now, the whole where there are a couple things in there that clearly I didn't like.
Mhm.
Right? There's 2 games in particular that bug me. One of them is not Penn State.
One of them's Minnesota.
One of them is Minnesota.
I would guess the other one's Michigan.
Yes.
Because I didn't think there was too much not to like about USC except the starting quarterback getting hurt.
And I think if he plays, they win.
Yeah.
So
why Michigan over Penn State?
Why Michigan? Because Penn State, in my opinion, was more talented than Michigan, and I didn't love I didn't love the setup of them going on the road. And I had watched Penn State against Oregon and Indiana. You and I never agreed on that.
Correct.
Deal. I'm like,
correct. Yeah.
They took these. So I'm like, hey, if Nebraska won that game, this would be the most talented team Nebraska beat. Like,
yeah,
Penn State was good. Now, that's not to say, and I said, it's not to say things that Nebraska couldn't have done differently. I didn't love some of the. I didn't walk through it, but I've explained a little bit. I'm like, hey, with these cover 2 beaters, guys like to play this coverage. Penn State likes to do this. We've got to kind of figure that out.
Mhm.
So Penn State didn't really bother me as much. Now, going into this season, I think this needs a little backstory because I feel like I kind of have to like back this. We have to like peel back the onion on the expectation level. So there's three things that I think are huge hangups. Number one is this D-line thing.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. The size, the evaluation, how they want to play it. And like that's the elephant in the room. Coach Butler kind of alluded to it. I thought he needed a day like yesterday, but it may not land well unless
you play well against Iowa.
You play well against Iowa because people, they're going to be like, and I don't know yet because I haven't really been engaged in social media. I would imagine it's either one of two things. It's either, all right, now we got to coach him up or I told you so. So if it's an I told you so thing, you can only get off of that by how you play against Iowa. And if it's a coach him up thing, you're only going to know when you play Iowa.
How you play against Iowa, yeah.
So there's that. Then there's this whole like evaluation thing, right? Because how you wanted to play this season isn't what you're capable of doing. It just hasn't manifested itself. Whether you wanted to be a movement front, an explosive front, whatever it was, you know, they won't ever live down the hell on wheels, but they were wrong.
Sure.
Right. So, and it's okay to say that part out loud, but I don't need a pound of flesh over that because I think that's something that is more emotional than it is physical.
Like you think their physical evals were right, but the guys weren't emotionally in a place to be able to deliver.
Which brings me to why the games bug me.
Minnesota felt like an emotional failure game.
I talk about emotional maturity all the time.
Yeah.
That game bugs me because
showed a lack of emotional maturity. Michigan is in a very similar vein. Okay, interesting.
You were good enough to win that game.
Fair.
I don't know if when you went into that game, you thought you could win that game because you let the build up
kind of get on top of you.
Yep. So I've always bagged that in my head. Like, man, I can get over the SC one. I can even get over the Penn State one like that. I'm telling you, that's the same team that Indiana needed a last second win against. And I listened to what Cignetti said about that team. So, and he has a hard time sometimes giving credit to the opponent.
Sure. Yeah.
So I listened to it. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles and I heard what he said and I was like, let me go back and okay, it's probably a good football team.
Yeah.
So that Penn State, I don't like the aesthetics necessarily, but it's not as bad. I didn't feel like it was as bad as kind of how the score indicated. So I want to go back to why those games bug me and kind of what I think is happening. And this is on the heels of trying to have the open conversation yesterday, which, I mean, shoot, that thing went over like a lead balloon. Typically baby's black balloon.
Big Goo Goo Dolls guy.
I am a little bit.
I like Goo Goo Dolls.
So what I think I know about this team versus what my expectations are very in sync.
Yeah.
So, but I also know that I run the risk of when I think something about a team and I haven't said it out loud, and then I say something, it can sound, and it's contrarian. It sounds kind of crazy.
Sure.
I'm always gonna wonder about games that are on emotional pendulums because I don't know where this team is from this is who we are, this is what we need to bring to the table deal.
Sure.
So anytime that variable is introduced, I'm always going to kind of be unsure. That's why I always talk about, hey, and I'm trying to speak it into existence when I say it.
Yeah.
Right? This is just me peeling back the layers of me. When I say, you know, you have the opportunity to write your own deal here or put that behind you and move on, because this is how I would try to coach it. Because I think I can see that they need they need a few more. And I don't even know if you can ask me later, or we can talk about this or the stream or whatever. I'm not necessarily saying it's a portal, go get a better player issue. What I'm saying is you need to go to work every day with guys that are going to go to work regardless of what's being said about them.
This is what you're talking about yesterday with like this. Just some of them still need a little hand holding. You said about 20%. You thought about 20%. Yeah.
There's still too many things where you have to kind of walk guys.
Like, hey, we can do it. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
There's
like,
still
give them the nudge.
Still a little bit too much of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And I said that.
Which I thought there was a lot too much of it last year. Like that was one of my bugaboos.
A game like Iowa can go a couple of different ways. You can either understand what's in front of you. That's why I always talk about when you play Iowa, you have to understand just one basic thing.
Mm-hmm.
They hate your guts.
Same thing you said with Minnesota. Or very similar.
The thing that makes me the most upset about Minnesota is I'm mad that I talked myself off of it a couple weeks before that game happened.
Yeah.
Because it's why I didn't like it all off season.
Yeah. And you asked everybody we talked to, do people appreciate how much Minnesota doesn't like us?
Do you know what I'm doing when I do that? I want everybody else to know what's coming.
Yeah. And you're forcing people to think about something maybe they haven't thought about.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, when I'm looking at Minnesota and I'm watching that tape and I'm telling people Nebraska's will win that game because I thought they were going to, I'm not considering that at all. I'm looking at that and I go, that's not a very good football team.
Yeah.
And I think I'm right. I still think I'm right about Minnesota as a football team.
Yeah, but the problem is not a problem. The difference is when you get into competitive things like this, sometimes it's a lot of times it's not about talent. Now, sometimes it is.
I mean, part of it was talent, but part of it was like execution. Like I'm watching Minnesota execute. I'm like, I don't think they're very good at what they're doing this year.
Yeah. So that. So,
but I didn't consider the other part.
Anytime you introduce those things into like an actual potential outcome, it's going to give me pause for concern.
Sure.
Right. So
Iowa's a very similar spot then.
Very similar spot.
More like Minnesota than Penn State to you.
Correct.
Because that's the thing everybody's worried about. Like, oh, we saw Penn State run the ball down our throat. Yeah. What about Iowa?
Even though they do get to it differently.
Sure.
Right.
But we tend to ignore that sometimes.
Now, is this going to be one of those times where you match the emotional maturity? Because the team that you're playing comes in with a very singular purpose, a very singular focus.
Regardless of who's on that team.
Doesn't even matter.
Every year. Same exact. I mean, this is what
doesn't even matter.
You heard Holgerson and Butler talk about. They're like, we were watching tape for 15 years ago. This is the same team.
Yeah. It's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the Parkers is different, but the philosophy is still the same, and Coach Ferentz is still Coach Ferentz.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you have to understand that going in. So when I say, why are we like what did we expect? What was supposed to happen? I'm processing through what it is that we want fixed.
Sure.
Do we want to be right? Is it that this 7-4 looks different? Because
wanted it to.
Yeah, because the one thing you're never gonna get me to talk about and say, is I'm not ever going to be like, oh, man, you missed the opportunity with X schedule, or you should have done this with this schedule, or you had this and it's never going to get easier. Like it's okay to have that opinion, but you have to realize your audience. Like that's never going to land well with me.
That's not how you process things.
That's not how it's not only not how I process things. It's not how you want your team to process things either.
Sure.
It's not how you want the people you cheer for to process. It's not how you want your coaching staff to process. So I don't talk about it. Right? Because let's look at the schedule and see who we can beat. You know what I mean? So because that's part of the problem. I was getting some B12 Elite. It's dissolvable. I didn't know. I was swallowing them the whole time. I popped one in the. Why? I don't know.
I was laughing because Sausha laughed.
That's the most GB thing I've ever heard. That's why I'm laughing.
Do you want to know how I found out? So I'm trying to kill some time till Zoe's out of school because I don't want to go back home.
Okay.
And I had gone to Pisons. I wanted to check on them and see what was going on and whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna go see my guy. I need some So, I need some
A
B12.
little B12 pick me up.
So I went over to Elite Nutrition and I was like, Jason, man, like I need such and such and such and such. He's like, all right. So we're talking and he said, hey, I want to ask you something. And I hate talking about this because I try not to ask you. I know we're boys, but sometimes I feel like you know too much. So I just don't want to ask you.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, man, I can be objective. Like, just ask me. And he said, he asked me about something I never thought of. He goes, what do you think Nebraska's worst 2 games were? And I was like, probably Minnesota and Penn State.
Mhm.
Because I want to ask you something. And he goes, why does or did Coach Rule introduce travel phenomenon or the scheduling
Mhm.
before both of those games? I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean?
Mhm.
He said, are you talking about passive aggressive Coach Rule? He's like, no. He goes, just think about it for a second.
Mhm.
It seems like when he talks about that and he's saying it to the media, like just say I don't know what time the Iowa game is, or we'll show up and like he had these hypotheticals.
Mhm.
He's like, that's what this coach would do. That's what this coach would do. That's what. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I said, let me think about that for a second. I'm like, one of the things that I don't mind doing is processing through whether I like somebody or not.
Mhm. You'll process through it.
I'll process through it. Just
It's your good piece of cheese thing. You're looking for the good piece of cheese. You
Yeah.
may or may not find it.
But he may be right? So I had to entertain that.
That is an interesting thought.
I've never thought of it
I
before.
haven't
But
either.
do you know why I think whether it's 1-to-1, he's right to right? Do you
Mhm.
know what sparked my thought?
Well, I'll tell you what I thought when you said it.
When he asked me that question and they turn out and they it's
Play
just
like they play.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, why introduce variables to a team that I already think, and he doesn't know I think this,
Mhm.
that I already think has a hard time handling emotional stability over the long haul.
Mhm.
I was like, shoot, if I think they ride the kind of the
roller coaster.
roller coaster a little
Yeah.
bit, maybe he's onto something.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So like those are the things that are interesting to me that you have to address, like to move this thing forward. And this isn't fancy,
Mhm.
because it's actually, I think, kind of where they're at as a program.
Does that bother you that that's where they're at?
Yes.
Because somebody brought that up in the chat. Like, hey, if that's where they're at in year 3, like there's a coaching problem or something.
Okay, but so we're different there.
Okay.
And I'm not saying they can't have that opinion,
Yeah.
but where we're different is there is no, with a flexible, movable roster, there is no year blank. Like, I don't start with that supposition. I don't think to myself, this roster and these players are vastly different than year 1. Yes or no?
I don't think so.
The guys on the roster?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. The guys on the roster, there's been a ton of turnover. There's 80 guys that weren't here year 1.
So I have a hard time linearly saying in year 3 you should.
Sure.
I stay with this team.
Mhm. Again, youngest team in the Big Ten.
No, hear my heart.
I mean, no, but that's true.
Something different. It's true, but it's different than what I'm saying. So I'm not in my feels like, oh man, I can't believe we're here in year 3. You're talking to somebody that doesn't utilize that frame of reference.
Mhm.
I look at it like a lot of new guys, a lot of guys getting, this is year 1 for these guys where they are. That's how you have to kind of coach it.
Can I ask you something real quick about that? Because college football professor brought this up, I think on Monday, who we know, very bright guy. He said that we can't, similar to what you're talking about, can't really talk about year 3 the same way we have in the past, which people are going to be like, well, Coach Rule talked about year 3.
That's fine.
Whatever. So that's fine. But he said from a roster standpoint, you can't really have that same discussion because he did it differently here in terms of did not start from scratch, basically. At Baylor, he was forced to because nobody was left on that team, right? At Temple, I think he chose to, or that's just how it worked out. I don't remember the dynamics, but he basically started from scratch, true freshman quarterback, the whole thing. Here, he really didn't process people out. If you remember, we were kind of stunned that there was not that much turnover from staff to staff when Coach Rule got hired. There wasn't that much turnover in either of the first 2 years either. So to me, you're looking at a very different way of going about things. And I said this, I think a year ago, because it just popped up on my memories that I had posted it.
Memories.
I think there was a little PTSD is probably too strong, but I think there was a little reaction from the NFL of going out of his way not to be transactional.
No, we talked about that, and I agreed with you.
And so he's just was like, "Hey, it might take longer, but I'm not getting rid of guys that I feel like want to be here."
Okay, so let me make sure I'm clear, because we're not very good, and most of the time it depends on whether you like receiving information from me on how objective you can be with what I'm saying. So I want to be clear here. I'm talking about a frame of reference to assess what's going on.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Yeah.
Not your opinion versus my opinion, whether it's an excuse or not. I'm talking about how I process the information. So I don't start with, this is year 3, it should look like this. I look at it like, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what has to be done. So I'm going to start with, you got to figure out, because now we're in the solutions business portion of it, right? So if
we know what the problems are.
Yeah, Sausha, so along those lines, Sausha, do you have play clip 3 here real quick from Coach Butler, clip 3 on edge plays, if we've got it queued up and ready to go. I'll tell you, I'll
big
I'll
run.
tie
I think this 3rd or 4th play of the game where they got over the edge to our boundary. We had a couple guys cut off on the front side, and then the DBs that were supposed to be the edge players, there was a big crease in the middle, so they lagged back. And then Allen's good enough to press the gap and then take the edge. So I know there was some references to some execution errors in the game, and that was a couple of them on the same play. Is we're slanting the line actually to where they're running the football. They're cutting us off, and if you cut off movement and if you have to blitz to stop the run, you're either going to make a play in the backfield or there's a chance that there's going to be a big play for them. So that's ultimately what happened on that play.
Right. So he gave you an individual answer for what's going on. So I want to go back to the beginning of the season when we talked about defensive line play and how they wanted to play. Now, you can get into bodies or not, but before you get into body types, just for laughs and giggles, just Google the defensive line that you're getting ready to play that's in Iowa City. Just the starting guys and their weight. So this isn't a size thing for me. This is a how you teach it and who's playing it kind of thing. Because I don't care if you play, because they played 4 down. If you play 4 down,
5 down as Coach Butler.
If you play 4 down, you better have 3 linebacker types. If you play 5 down, you better have 2 linebacker types, but they better be better because there's only 2 on the second level than you probably would have to have if you just had 3. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If I play a 4-3, I have more margin of error on the second level than if I play a 5-2.
More guys to cover the same.
Does that make sense?
That's basically what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You should have more bodies to cover the same amount of space.
So the onus on Coach Butler is, from a philosophy standpoint, to how many down. There's 3 things you have to do. You have to be violent at the point of attack. You have to restrict holes, and you have to trust. It's the only way you can really stop the run. You have to be violent at the point of attack. You have to restrict gaps, and you have to trust. I don't care what the order is, but all 3 of those 3 things have to happen. That's up to him and those guys to teach and to find those guys that do it, if that makes sense.
let me ask you this question, because which of those three things do you think Nebraska struggles with the most right now? Being violent at the point of attack, restricting the hole, or trusting each other?
So they struggle with hole restriction and trust. The play that he just walked.
Do they struggle with trust because of hole restriction?
Yeah, like I would show you what he's talking about. I told you they went the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to be moving to the ball. If you're moving to the ball and you get washbacks to hole without getting back vertical, the second level is going to be slow to go, and your third level is going to be super slow.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, shoot, man, if I'm a backside B-gap run fitter, that thing looks huge. I better slow down so I can play with leverage. Or you do just the opposite. You panic because you see it, and then all of a sudden it's hero ball. So like I was saying yesterday, and that deal, it's never all just one thing. It's never just players' fault, and it's never just coach's fault. But what they're not afforded the luxury to do is what we do, is we just talk in sweeping general statements, and we say things like fire everybody, or we're going to get killed, or don't show up, or like that's not practical for what these guys got to do. So I'm always going to talk about what these guys got to do.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the difference.
Yeah.
In terms of what
kind of they have to go show up anyway.
Hey, you got to play ball, man. Like you have to play ball. And to can you bold Headley's his point? What did he say about Iowa's D-line?
Let's see here. Iowa stops the run and doesn't have a guy over 300 pounds on their D-line. So that's what I was looking up right now. Yeah, I mean, so pick a guy. You got like Graves. You got
what does he say? What, I can't read that again. My glasses aren't on. What does that say?
Iowa stops the run and doesn't have a guy over 300 pounds on their D-line.
What? Wait, what? I think that says 300, right?
It does say 300. Yeah.
Does it say over or under?
They do not have a guy over.
Oh, damn. So it can be done, right?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Because we let ourselves off the hook, and this is everybody when we, number one, like when fans do it and they compare, oh, we need a Nash and Ty. Like we got to be better than that. Right? It's not that that's not true. It's you don't get the same guys every year. So what do we do now? And now is as a fan base, we got to say we can't stand for that. The guys can't stand for that. Like at some point, you just have to make your mind up. Like I'm not gonna be blocked, right? And if you're not good enough physically, you better at least start with that supposition. I'm not gonna be blocked. Like that's a mindset.
How much does it matter if you're in that situation and you say, okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe you understand you're outmatched, right? And you say,
what does that mean?
I mean, again, I think it's a emotional maturity thing that you're dealing with in that situation. But let's say you think the guy you're going up against is better than you for whatever reason. And you sit there and you go, okay, I probably can't just beat this guy straight up one-on-one. Is it still feasible in that situation to say, but I can still do my job and be in the right spot?
Sure, but I guess I'm struggling with, I guess it happens.
So, well, the reason I ask this is because we've heard a couple times.
I mean, I think we have some issues when we're conceding.
Sure. And I'm not saying a player probably can't or hopefully shouldn't think that way, right?
Yeah.
But let's say as a coach, you know it's true. Let's say as a coach, you're like, hey, yeah, their left tackle is probably going to beat up on our guy on the end there, or whatever the case is.
Like a coach looks at film and he's like, oh, man, he's a dude.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know if my guy is good enough for that, or I don't know if I have a guy that's good enough for that. Can you still expect that guy to be able to do his job and be in the right spot so that everybody else can have a chance?
Yeah, so that's fair, I guess. How I would do that is like you have to put guys in position to have success. So if I've got a sophomore corner going against, a power forward wide receiver, I have to design things that help that guy be successful without compromising everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. So coaches do it different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's, hey man, you got to solve problems with I say solve problems with aggression,
mm-hmm.
right? Where, you're playing a team and your job is to own B gap. Hey man, just own B gap.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that we call and what we want to do, no matter what kind of eye candy we use, whether we stem to it, we kick to it, we move to it, whatever. Hey man, get your ass in B gap.
Mm-hmm.
Just own B gap. And the course of the week of practice is all that dude is thinking, just own B gap.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk much about how good somebody is or isn't, but as a coach that's trying to teach these guys, what the desired outcome is. You don't have to tell them everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
hey, these two guys, they're all conference linemen
Yeah.
from Iowa, man. So we're going to do our best to protect. Like we're not,
Right.
we're not doing that.
My question is really more, is it feasible? Because I don't know. Is it feasible if you're a coach and you say, hey, I don't like this matchup for my guy, I'm going to tell him he needs to own B gap.
Mm-hmm.
Is it practical if he is physically outmatched that he can do that on a consistent basis?
Somebody needs to be in B gap, and you get paid to figure out who needs to be in B gap to stop the run, or A gap, or C gap, or edge pressures. Like, listen, if you're going to get hit with off tackle run game, he's telling you he's going to try to move to it, right? A's moving, B's moving, C's moving. You still have to play it with violence, right? If I'm RVP and I see scoop, I can't be playing laterally.
You got to get.
I got to get 45 and see if I can get a shoulder turn.
Okay.
If I'm Cam Linhart and I'm edge setting, my first step can't be backwards, right? It's a mindset. It's
not a talent thing, not a size thing.
Now they can be better than you, but what's my job? Like that's what this team that we're playing, that's what they embody. They don't care if you're supposed to be better. They're going to do their job. That's what we hate about them. That's why I like them.
Sure. If it wasn't Iowa, we would love it.
Yeah.
Because I would make the argument that's what Nebraska was doing for a very long time.
I never have anything bad to say about Iowa. I don't. I hate the fact they win all the time against us.
Right.
Like that pisses me off. But I admire what they do because they're committed to the job.
It's an identity thing as much as anything.
So when we talk about year 3, I don't look at it as an indictment that he doesn't have the culture the way where. And I'm not going to say he doesn't, because I don't want to get off the track here. When we say year 3, it should be like this. I'm telling you, I don't think like that.
Okay.
Too many different types.
Yeah.
Now you give me year 2 with these guys.
So like next year, let's say most of these guys come back.
Yeah.
Second year with this group. Now you're talking about something.
Yeah. So right now I can only talk about philosophy and how you want to approach it. So if I'm Coach Butler or Coach Braden or Coach Dvorak, do I feel like did I miss on where I thought Winari was, or Keona Davis was, or Van Poppel or Moore? I don't know, maybe. But situationally, is there anything that happens from week to week that adds to the variables? If there is, eliminate them. It is. If you get to a point where you feel like I don't know what I'm going to get out of this guy from week to week, you either have to stop playing those guys or eliminate the variables that they get caught up in
that cause the inconsistency.
Yeah, whether it's social media, whether it's game plan, whether it's level of sensitivity, like. I don't know what it is, but like you got to figure that part out. That's where the coaching comes in. And again, I don't care whether it's 3 down, 4 down, 5 down. You can want better players, but don't make this about bigger guys. Teach discipline and violence. whatever that is, because other teams do it and don't have to be a certain size. You're going to play a team that is very good against the run, that couldn't care less about. There isn't this mythical. We talk about it too much. You don't have what everybody. You don't have Nash and Ty. At some point, move off of it. That's my point.
Can I try and sum this up? If I understand you correctly, there has not been a time this year where you thought size on the defensive line was the deciding factor between whether they were able to execute or not.
No, do your job. Do your job. Stop getting washed. Don't take the path of least resistance. If I'm a front side A-gap guy, don't slip backside just so I can make a play. But the development portion is part of it too. Don't let me just sit here and say, oh man, you got to play better. Like, the development piece is critical too. If you don't like the way that Judy or RVP is playing a double, or when he's in a 2, if you don't have options to play somebody else, you have to teach it better. Like, that's just the reality of it. And then once you do, then you just line it up and see where you're at. I don't, while you're waiting for the cavalry to come, don't let yourself off the hook by saying the cavalry isn't here yet.
What do you do in the meantime?
But that's just how you got to look at it.
That is DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We are here at Hurrdat Sports headquarters. We're going to take a quick break here. We will be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's 0 days at Edwards Nissan. 0 down, 0 due at signing, and 0 payments until 2026. The Black Friday sales event is on. Give thanks, get driving. Drive a 2025 Nissan Sentra S starting at $199 a month for 36 months with 0 down and no payments until 2026. Over 39 Sentras ready to roll. Or sign and drive the 2026 Nissan Rogue SV all-wheel drive for $299 a month. 0 down and no payments until 2026. These 0-day offers end soon. Hurry to Edwards Nissan. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Nissan.
Nebraska leads the nation in All-Americans in volleyball of all time. Can you tell me what number that is?
I'm going to go with 60.
60? You want a hint?
That's a pure guess.
107.
Is it in the 20s?
It's in the triple digits.
Oh.
Huh? Who was our All-American from last year's team that graduated? Extra hint.
Lexi Rodriguez.
It was Lexi Rodriguez. Good job. You got that one. Good job.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Sisters Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I think they kicked our ass. Obviously, that's the obvious answer. They had a plan to come in and run the football. They were a big physical, very big and very physical offensive line that played very well together. They were a motivated team. Not to say they weren't in the past, but you can clearly see the different level of energy and execution. Their backs are two very good backs. You know, we had a plan. We knew they were going to run the ball. We had multiple blitzes, multiple fronts. We played 3 down fronts, 4 down fronts, 5 down fronts. We blitzed, we played base, we played single high man, single high zone, and they had an answer for everything. So kind of chalk it up to it is what it is. It wasn't our best day at the office, and we quickly have moved on to Iowa, but there's obviously still a lot of stuff to learn from it and get better because of it now and in the future.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Central Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Coming up on the show today, we've got Brian Christopherson at 8. We've got Andy Kendi at 8:30. And then we moved our guy Tim up from Friday to today to make sure we got to talk to him before the Iowa game. So that is the lineup. Got it done in the first hour.
I was talking to my guy. He sent me a message. You think Indiana's pretty good against the run?
Yeah.
Tucker Tyreek is their biggest D lineman. He's 302.
Yeah. So
stop talking about size and let's start talking about the methodology. If you're going to be a certain way, teach it a certain way. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Be violent, restrict gaps, trust. Do that. Start there. Stop speaking into existence what you don't have. You don't have it.
So what are you going to do?
Line up and play it.
So what are you going to, that's the main. I think the part where people struggle in that disconnect is when you say just line up and do it. And that's what I was trying to get at. I don't know if I was asking the question very well. I think when we're talking about size, we're really talking about talent. Like in people's heads, I think that's the.
I don't know, man. Maybe
I'm wrong. That's what I think they're talking about because everybody knows the outliers, right? But they're like, oh, well, yeah, but he's like one of the best to ever do it. If we keep having outliers of like, well, he's one of the best to ever do it, then maybe size doesn't actually matter that much. Just my thought process. But I think we're talking about a talent thing more than anything. And so
I think we would know. I don't know.
Maybe I could be wrong.
I think we would know what it looks like if we saw it. And I don't think it's talent. I think we want to. I think we just want to see like hand and.
I do think violence is
hand and foot violence
thing that we want.
That's it,
right? We want it to look a certain way. Maybe it feels too passive. Maybe that's what I mean more than a talent thing. It looks like. I mean, the thing that Coach Rule and I think Coach Butler said as well about just, hey, we gotta get off blocks. We gotta get off blocks to make plays. Right.
I'm just telling you, it drives me up the wall. I just don't want to start getting into this deal where we start talking about, and I'm like this, I've been like this with every coach, and I'm certainly not going to let Coach Rule or anybody else talk about it. And I don't know if he necessarily is. I don't want it to creep into the dialogue. Don't talk about what you don't have. Get better with what you do have and see where the chips fall. Like just start there. Because the guys, you're not, it's not, the eggs aren't set enough to be introducing other variables if you still want it to taste like eggs.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Right. Like you can't, hey, we need to go get this, or we're gonna need. In the meantime, while you're waiting, I mean, Frost talked about this all the time. It used to drive me up the wall, right? And I know that the second half when Bo was there and he was talking about recruiting and need more ready-made guys, and I just when I hear that, it's like you think we didn't want better players this year?
Right? Sure. Yeah, you always want better players, right?
It's like,
regardless.
I don't know. That team we're playing in the semis is pretty good. I'd like a couple more fellas. We ain't got them. You know what I mean? It's like, and we're not just not not going to focus on that. It's if you need to be violent because you're undersized, then be violent because you're undersized. If it's about gap integrity and hole restriction, then have gap integrity and restrict holes. If I see a puller and I read scoop, split it. Okay?
Go through his face, man.
It's a mindset.
So let me
you're gonna see, I watch Indiana. I watch Iowa. It's a mindset. They're not big.
So let me ask you this about getting to that point.
They're physical.
They are very physical. Let me ask you a question about getting to that point, right? Because I assume
God, this tastes like poop.
What do we got today?
I don't know.
The old fruit.
Man.
What kind of fruit we got in there?
Oh, it tastes like dirty peaches. I don't believe in wasting. I'm gonna drink it.
You want some Diet Coke?
Heck no.
I assume because I do think these coaches are good, despite what other people may think. I assume that these things they've attempted to teach these things throughout the year. Fair?
Yeah, I hope so.
How much? Yeah, that we can only hope and assume. How much of this can be corrected from a Penn State to an Iowa?
So,
like, what
brings me back to the original point
Yeah.
that we were talking about when everybody made a big deal about me saying, what did we expect? With a team like this that rides the momentum wave, you're now going to see which side of the coin they're on, because they're very capable of getting up and landing on the line. How long they could do it for, how many weeks in a row is where they need to move to. But for a game like this, they can definitely
get up for it.
They can definitely get up for it. But Nebraska's not in a position. I said this yesterday, and maybe because I said, hey, Iowa's going to be the chance at an 8th win. If you go to a bowl for a chance at 9 wins, it's going to be a successful season. So keep in mind, I've said that since March or February. I've said it. So that's my explanation.
That's what you said all offseason.
That's my expectation.
So you view everything through that lens.
Yeah, and I also thought that they were capable, and you know this, that they could have a performance like they did against Minnesota, because
you felt like that was on the table.
I just feel like
that was the part I was mad about. Is I thought they were past that. I thought they were past losing games that way.
They're not, though.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
Like, tried it. Like
you tried to tell me, but I thought
they're not.
They were past the point of
they're not past losing games like that. But I do get, which is why I wasn't like wrist slapping yesterday about when I was trying to just process through why everybody was so upset. I do understand, like, the fan base thinking we should be past that.
That's how I felt in the moment. Like at Minnesota, that was the thing I was mad about.
Right. So I just think when you're still a little emotionally immature, it doesn't have to be a negative. It just
sometimes it's just where you're at.
Learning how to win and going to work every day is a real thing. Like if you talk, you could talk to just a handful of guys. Like if they're just on the outside watching or have an assessment, it's, can you do hard things every day? That's where this is. Can you do, and Nebraska's always going to struggle against teams that do hard things every day.
Yeah.
Until they start doing hard things every day. Listen to what I'm telling you. Nebraska will always struggle against teams that do hard things every day until they learn to do hard things every day. It starts with your coach, and the methodology, and then it trickles down to the assistants or the coordinators and then assistants. That's why it's not rocket science why Wisconsin and Minnesota and Iowa deal Nebraska fits. Those were programs that historically do hard things every day. When Nebraska gets to the point where they do hard things every day, then you can make it about talent. I don't want to fast forward to like portal shopping and like the changing of the bed sheets every day until you find like basically the right mattress. The right mattress.
Yeah.
Right. Because you let yourself off the hook as a staff. And that's not what I want. But that's just a personal thing. But I get, when you see Signet, when you see guys that win yesterday as an outlier, it ramps things up. But I go back and I listen to guys like, even for as much hand wringing as we have over Lane Kiffin's, like his personality traits, one thing he does do is he's got those guys, whether they're there however long, like they compete, they're confident to do the same hard things every day. Right? Like, I don't know if that has to do with like his background, where he came from, the divorce, like whatever, those traits, getting fired multiple times. But he just, for all the other distractions, I think he gets guys that will lay it on the line all the time. And I'm not saying Nebraska doesn't have guys that will lay it on the line all the time. You just can't talk about these mythical things because your team's not built to be distracted. They just aren't. Because for right now, at least in year 1 or 2, for some of these young guys, it's as good as they've had it.
Yeah.
So you can't add to the fandom. It's the number one thing that I'm always paranoid about.
The Disneyland?
Yes.
Does it, hearing you talk about that, do you think Coach Rule talks about being grateful a lot, gratitude. Do you think sometimes
he's still having to teach it?
Well, here's my question though. If you're constantly, not that you shouldn't feel grateful, right? But do you think there's a fine line between the Disneyland part of it and feeling grateful all the time? Like, I feel like those things could bleed into each other if you're not careful.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a guy that we don't like up north. Now, his team didn't win a game on the road this year, and that made me more of a talent thing. But his team seemed to, remember when we thought it was funny where they had to kind of write notes, things that they're appreciative of, and what they liked about the program. And we're like, oh, that's hokey, that's cheesy. But I mean, Fleck wins a lot of games and he beats Nebraska, right? So I'm probably gonna look and see what that guy's doing. I mean, this is just me. This isn't the Roy way. This is me.
Yeah.
Like, why do I like PJ Fleck? Like, I like PJ Fleck.
Yeah.
Like, I like Kirk Ferentz. I like guys that have a. It's why I like Coach Rule. And I don't think he's being a salesman. I think he's searching to get the right guys in the program all the time, where the 90% trumps the 10%. But if you have any really good players that are in that 10%,
you get in trouble in a hurry.
You got to move on.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
You get in trouble in a hurry.
Yeah, you got to move on.
Yeah.
Like,
your best players will have to be in the 90s.
If Coach Rule had Deshaun McCullough one more year, I don't know what he's going to. I'm saying if he gave him like one more year, the growth between Deshaun McCullough next year and where Deshaun McCullough is this year would be monumental. It would be Herculean.
Yeah.
It would be Herculean. If RVP next year will be significantly better than he was this year. And it's not just the physical development. It's because he'll know how to go to work emotionally.
Yeah.
Gabe Moore will know how to go to work. Penn State won't catch Gabe Moore off guard emotionally, and it won't matter how mature or physical Penn State is, because his preparation will be in the bag already, because he'll know how to have gone to work emotionally. That's why when they play teams that know how to go to work emotionally, it's always going to be a crapshoot to see if they can match the consistency. Those are the teams that are going to always bug me.
Yeah.
when they play Nebraska until I feel like Nebraska has guys that know how to go to work every single day.
Let's take a quick break here. We'll get to Brian Christopherson coming up next. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Kia. Give thanks and get driving. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $299 a month with 0 down. That's 0 down starting at $299 a month for the 2026 Kia Sportage. Bold style and tech-savvy comfort. Or upgrade to the 2025 Kia Telluride LX 4-wheel drive. Lease starting at $379 a month with just $999 down. Space, safety, and unmistakable style. Don't wait. These Black Friday savings end soon at Edwards Kia.
It ain't no different than what it was in 2001 when I was at Texas Tech and played these guys in the Alamo Bowl. I'm being serious. I mean, it's just, they've been there, 25 years or whatever it is, and it's been the same forever. I mean, for them to be able to sustain it like they have is something that's very unique and probably never going to be duplicated again. So same as it was last year. I got to go back. Obviously 25 years ago, there's going to be some things that are a little different, but same as it was last year. Just they're a plug and play team. I thought they had really good players last year. And the ones that they lost, they've replaced them with really good players this year. So it ain't real tricky. They're just sound with everything that they do. And from a coaching perspective, you got to respect that.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. Federal Credit Union. That's the Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat HQ. That is, we're here kicking off hour number 2 here. We are joined now by Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 BC. What's going on?
Not a lot. How you guys doing?
B Sizzle, how are things?
Things are okay. I mean, if you can't have a little joy in your heart the day before Thanksgiving, you're in trouble, right?
Joy, come on, pump it up. And pain. No, I'm kidding. Just
exactly.
Joy.
There you go.
How we doing, B? We're all right.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I think people wanted me to go in on my partner yesterday, but because 10 wins versus this would be playing for the 8th win with a chance to go to a bowl game. That's all I wanted, B. Were my expectations too low? Because that's now I didn't expect to get. I didn't like Minnesota and I didn't like Michigan. Like that may surprise you that those are the 2 games that still bug me a little bit. But Iowa being the 8th win potentially and the 9th for the bowl game was where I was at. Was the bar too low?
No. I feel like 8-4 was the majority set bar across the state, and I don't want to speak out of turn and be like the guy who has the voice of this is what the state thought going into this game, this season. But we did polls and stuff like that, and a lot of people were with you on that with their prediction. And I think
that's how it's looked.
And saw that. Yeah, I guess so. I think honestly, I think the Minnesota game is the one that's really stuck in people's craw a little bit. That's probably it. And maybe that was the one you saw coming. I know leading up to that game, I remember you asking me the question about, are we underestimating how much disdain Minnesota has, or how much they really want to take down Nebraska?
No.
And a fair point to that. But honestly, I think it was the way that game played out, like on a Friday night where everybody's watching, and you gave up the 9 sacks, and It even ended, I think, with a sack, like on the last play, you're picking your quarterback off the turf and stuff. It was just that whole scene that I think is right now where they stand at 7-4 is probably the one that's like I always say the wine stain on the white carpet.
BC, I think that's kind of where I landed yesterday with the fan base as well, that if Minnesota doesn't happen, we feel pretty differently about that. But I think there's another factor here. How much differently will you personally feel about a win Friday versus a loss Friday going into the offseason? Because it seems like the fan base in general will have vastly different feelings about this season based on the result Friday.
Yeah, I mean it's huge. It is. It's just like you could say, oh, it's just 8-4 to 7-5, but it's who it's against. It's that dang trophy game too. Like that's part of it. Like people used to make fun of that around here, how the Big Ten had these trophy games. But then you see another squad lifting up. I said this to Brunts the other day. It could be like a red stapler that's like fastened down, and that's what you're playing for. But if some big lineman from the other team across the border is lifting it to the sky after beating you, and they're chanting in your stadium, it just drives you bats. And so it's a combination of all those things. It's as Damon said, that 8-4 bar, and that was a very common one. So there'll be a lot of people who, if they win, they say, well, you know what? I didn't like this or that, but they got to exactly where I said they were going to get. And I'm pretty smart, so they'll be kind of feeling good about calling that shot. And they'll probably go to a pretty decent bowl if they win that game. And you'll have that victory over Iowa, which has been so elusive. So it's like a 4-part whammy about what's at stake on Friday. And if you lose, you do have to take stock of it was a tough November. It was a tough schedule. We knew it was going to be that this month. But Matt Rule even said a couple weeks ago, this is where people's opinions are affected on a season. And there's no question that's the truth.
So, BC, let me ask you something, because I was just telling this stupid random story, but I'll skip the details. Just picking up some stuff from at the nutrition store yesterday. My buddy asked me a question kind of off topic, and he said, it seems like the couple of games we've been the most disappointed in were games in which preceding we talked about kind of the setup and the scheduling, right? It was the Minnesota talk on the short week. It was the getting in and out of Happy Valley during knowing you have a short week. We've seen Nebraska kind of fight this position of, we need to address what happened in Penn State, but man, we couldn't wait to get out of there soon enough to get to Iowa. They still seem like a team that emotionally hinges on what they hear. Does that seem accurate? I never thought about it until he posed it that way yesterday. But considering I think they have a lot of emotional growth to do where they can do hard things every day, do you think there's something to that?
You're saying it's a team you still think that is pretty affected by whatever narratives.
Yeah, what's going on around them? Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure I think they're still working through that probably. I mean, I'm just basing that off of the results and some of the evidence is like you supply there. I think they've got some guys who are maturing in that way. It's still a young football team, as we've always talked about in a lot of respects. And so that would sort of be natural that you do get caught up in that. But that, you know what, right after the game, I was sort of the mindset, I said this on our little video right afterward, like I could have done with a little more talk about what just happened when you get beat 37-10. But I also, like, the next morning was like, you know what? They know what's at stake this Friday in this game. And I understand from a coaching perspective and the leaders on this team perspective, get your mind when we're on this plane toward this game Friday and let's go do something. Let's go show that we're a better team than we were tonight. We are very capable of that. Let's redirect, and we know the significance of this game. The significance Iowa puts on it. I think Iowa wakes up every week this time of year thinking like, how can I rip their hearts out this time? Like, I think they kind of have that mindset in this series because it's sort of what has just been for them. And so Nebraska's got to match that, and they've got to get past whatever's out there this week about what happened Saturday. It can't be like in your airspace. You've just got to be like, how am I going to wreck Iowa's weekend? How am I going to make their leftover turkey suck? When they're eating it Saturday. So that's where Nebraska's got to be, and hopefully they've got enough of those guys who have helped pull the reins this week to get that focus on just what's right ahead of them, and not what happened or who's coming in the portal in January. And all that stuff.
I mean, well, BC, it was turkey, so it sucked the first time. Doesn't have to be leftovers. But do you think that there is going to be the same challenge with Iowa, with everything you mentioned there about the way Iowa views this game? Do you think Nebraska will have the same challenge they did against Minnesota in not understanding that going to the table, or does Iowa kind of come with more in an inherent understanding of what this game's about?
That's a good question. I think this Nebraska side gets it completely at this point. That this game it brings it out of you. It kind of makes your blood boil the other side. When they get the best of you. There's been enough things said. You even heard Rule reference it in passing, but reference it like them waving goodbye and saying Merry Christmas, the 2 years ago. There's been a lot of stuff said in pressers, and obviously the whole thing before the game last year. I don't think it's like on these guys' mind every day, but it all adds up. And Heinrich Harburg kind of talked about this. All that stuff is what makes a rivalry at some point, where the Husker fan base has not always wanted to call this a rivalry, but the bottom line is you can't stand the other side. They can't stand you, and you can't stand when they beat you. And that's a rivalry. And so I think these guys know it. And I think these guys will, I think they'll match Iowa in that regard about that intensity for this game. And honestly, I think if you look at the past few years, you would say Nebraska has usually done that in this game, because there have been some seasons, guys, where Iowa's been a step ahead of Nebraska as a program when they played, and Nebraska still went toe-to-toe with them to the very end. So I think the Huskers in many ways have actually kind of stepped up in this game and played that kind of football. It's just that they've always been in the wrong end with that like last play or two.
When you're talking about, I always talk about this all year, and part of it is just my personality, BC, because I think I've never been the most talented, and I've been on teams, a few. Again, the 95 team was more of an anomaly, but 93, 94, even 96 were teams where we've played against teams that were more talented. So I'm always going to gravitate towards, even though I may not be the best, like I still can lay it on the line, right? I can still make poor life choices, but I can still do good things. Like, it's just how I'm wired, right? Is that enough when I'm telling you, when I talk about emotional maturity with this team, where I say, if you can just hang in there long enough to make it matter, is there a part of that for this program that they need for long-term sustainability, in your opinion?
Man, that's a good question. Yeah.
Is there a part of that in the Big Ten when you see in Indiana? Because I think that's how Indiana does it. Like, we pulled a ton of clips, BC, from Stignetti, even his old days. He talks the exact same thing about doing the same thing every day in rigor. The teams that I know will deal Nebraska fits are the teams that do the same thing all the time and embrace rigor. Like, yet we talk talent in the portal. So I'm always trying to balance those two things.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you need a little bit of all of it. You gotta nail it with your player acquisition, and John Butler talked a little bit about that the other day. Real quick on that, I want to be clear, like from the media standpoint, Sam asked a good question, because what happens is with the access, they'll play a game Friday, and you might not talk to John Butler again. This is no knock on Nebraska, but just the way it works out until like mid-December about things, right? And so, in a way, the media is kind of working ahead on stories where that you are interested in, like sort of the big picture stuff of December and January. But you can have that and then put it over there and then say, also at the same time, these guys right in front of us, they need to do exactly what you're talking about. They need to keep developing these guys that they have. And yes, there's going to be nice supplemental pieces you can find with them, but you've got to have those guys that are doing the hard stuff this week, are going to do the hard stuff in those bowl practices, and understand how big a deal like those 12 to 15 practices can be for their development, and that they love those sort of practices. Like they feed off of it, knowing that they can get better as a player and how it can help them into 2026. So hopefully you've got a lot more of those guys than maybe you even did a year or two ago. And I think they feel like they're trending that way. But you're always, I'm sure, looking like, do you have those guys with that maturity who love the hard stuff each day? And we talked about this last week on the show, guys. Phil Simpson had that quote, and he's like, this is a hard program. You got to be a person who likes hard stuff. And so I definitely think they're trying to build that in the same way Signetti and those guys are. And they're getting closer, but obviously there's always work to do on that front.
And you know what? He was the first to kind of say it out loud, but Holgerson kind of doubled down too, man. Do you think they're a little caught off guard or taken aback, or I don't know what the word is. You're better with that than that the standard of embracing doing hard things is totally set by what their head coach has been saying. Like, clearly that's a message in that building, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like you keep hearing it. Like that's the second or third time I've heard it in the last 3 weeks, right? That's got to be the message that he's trying to send. I'm just trying to figure out why at this juncture in the season is that something that's being said out loud.
Well, I think it's also, Rule said this week, this game isn't as much decided on Friday as the stuff that happened Monday and Tuesday this week.
Yeah.
As like your weight training and your how you did your nutrition and handled all that stuff, all those mat drills, everything that built up to this for 10, 11 months. And I think that's worthwhile to put in guys' minds again too, is like, there were days you were getting up at 5 a.m. January, February, when this seemed so distant, this game, and now it's here. This is what you work for. This is what you did the hard stuff for, is that you've prepared yourself to go toe to toe with these guys, and you can do it. And so I think maybe there could be a little of that. I don't know. I don't want to say too much out of pocket when I'm not inside their walls. But that seems to make sense to me, that you would want to really drive that home. Not that guys don't already know that, but it's just that reminder. Like this has been a build that you guys have worked hard. We do hard stuff in this program, and it prepares you to be ready to play well in games like this, just like they've prepared, and you're just as equal to that task as they are.
So BC, as we talk a lot about this Iowa game. We've talked a lot about mentally and kind of emotionally where Nebraska needs to be at. Is there anything on like a football standpoint that you are kind of keying on? I mean, for me, the thing I've been thinking about all week is just how Caden Weechin kind of haunts my dreams a little bit.
Yes.
But outside, like, is that it? Or what are you looking at from a on the field football-y perspective of this?
I mean, honest to goodness, that's a good starting point, Ravi. Like that kid, he won the Michigan State game. I mean, they just kept punting to him, and it was like a DePornay Pearsonell 2014 special. It's like, here you go.
Seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah, rip our hearts out, and he did. And that kid all year has scared me. Like I've been worried about him. Now the good thing is you've got a special teams unit in Nebraska that's confident in itself, but I think they're smart and they know they'll know how they want to attack him and to try to limit his opportunities. So that's a good thing. Another thing I'm looking for, it's a little bit connected to what John Butler was talking about yesterday, is the red zone defense for Nebraska. He pointed out, which is true, they haven't let teams down there as much. They're like almost top 10 in times teams have had attempts in their red zone. But the opposition has scored 20 out of 27 times touchdowns. And Rule mentioned this in a previous game a couple weeks ago. It was the USC game where they had that series where USC basically tied it late in the third quarter. And remember, there was like 3 plays in a row where Nebraska sort of got on its skates and a big pass play, and then Jaden Maeva kind of ran on them. There's going to be a play in this game or a sequence where Iowa rips off a 35-yard run probably at some point or something like that. Hopefully it's not like the 65-yard house call, but it's that play where they get a nice play. They're feeling good about themselves. You could be a little down on, about what your situation. They're on your 30-yard line. I need to see Nebraska step up in that moment on Friday, like that, not have like that one play lead to like 3 or 4 bad plays, because I do think if you look at the course of the season, there has been a little bit of that, not a ton, but enough of a sampling there that can do you in a game like this where maybe points are at a premium.
BC, so is special teams a thing that you think Nebraska has to win, or can they break that bad boy even and give themselves a chance for, a victory, all everything else being equal for, what you think Iowa brings to the table?
Yeah. I think they can break even and win the game, but the thing I love about what their mindset's going to be under Eckler is that's not just what they're going to shoot for, is just to break even. They're going to think we can break this game open, just like I was thinking that. And it's been a while, I think, since Nebraska's gone into a game with them, probably with that sort of confidence. You had some of those guys. Great stories yesterday, by the way. People should listen and read all about, like Derek Branch and Michael Booker and those guys. And, they're guys Eckler's believed in and saw what their skill set could be. And they were fired up for this game, like the matchup. They know what Iowa's special teams, like the sort of how it's held up high as being a thing that always turns games. And they look at themselves now as that kind of group at Nebraska. And so I think they can win it, Damon, if it's just like sort of a standoff. And honestly, if you hold their punt returner to just a minimal, output, that's winning in a big way for Nebraska because he's such a field flipper. But I like that Nebraska will go into it thinking, hey, we could get you Corey Barney loose just as well as they're thinking they can do it for their guy.
Is this the first time, BC, that you think Nebraska has a fighting chance to at least play even on special teams with Iowa?
Yeah. At least going in the game where you're just like hoping, wishing, praying, you in the past. I mean, you think back to I was going through the list of games, the 6 in a row Iowa's won in Memorial Stadium, like 21 under Frost, 2021. Nebraska was up 21-9. I almost forgot all about that game. They had a punt blocked, and then they gave up a safety, and Iowa just had all the momentum. So, that Iowa's sort of always feeding off the idea that play is just around the corner for them. So the fact that Nebraska goes into a game not overconfident, I think, respectful, knowing Iowa's dangerous there, but also saying, so are we. That's the first time in a long time we've thought that. And it's interesting. Actually, special teams is such a part of this series because, 2014, since then, Iowa's won 9 of the last 10. Everybody's heard all that. But that was, of course, the game where they kicked the DeMorte Pearson-L twice, and everybody was knocking Ferentz for what's this guy knucklehead doing, in their special teams. And so ever since then, there's been some payback. So it's good that Nebraska at least goes to the game where you feel like it's an equal footing or then some.
BC, I guess very simple question. How do you think this one goes?
I think this one goes down to the final 5 minutes, like most of these the last 7 years, and I'm going to pick Nebraska to win it.
I think I might too. I'm close. I'll
Yeah.
give it a little time. I'm close.
I think Nebraska is going to get off the mat from Saturday. I think they did very quickly, is my sense. And I don't know. I just have a feeling they're going to play up. And TJ, this is his first home start. I like that for him. It wasn't the easiest thing. Yeah, of course, he was going home to UCLA the first game, so that maybe that was a little bit better setting. But he's had 2 road starts. That's a tough way to get into it, and one of them's at Penn State. So I look forward to him having the home crowd behind him. I think the 11 a.m. kickoff is actually maybe a little bit nice for Nebraska in the sense that I wonder if it negates some of the Iowa fans that come in for the game. But anyway, all that said, I think Nebraska will hang in there and make that extra play. So I'll pick Nebraska in a tight one.
There you go. That is Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 BC. Appreciate the time as always. Hope you have a terrific Thanksgiving, bud.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, B.
That is our guy, Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7. Good stuff there.
Yeah.
You good? You all right?
Yeah, I'm hyped. I can't find my charger, but
You just fighting?
yeah,
Is your charger right there? What isn't that?
that one's too short. See, I see how it happened. Like I didn't even mean. I apologize. It's instinctive when I saw it out of my periphery, so I apologize.
It's all right. You're slapping hands out here today. It's fine.
My staff hates me too
Slap
because that's
hands.
all I do is play fight.
It's all right. I come up and pretend.
You take a couple of L's and you feel like, oh, those guys were just tougher than me, and
Yeah.
so you get the next one.
I go up to Rico all the time and pretend to hit him in the side.
Rico has an irrational sense of confidence, though. Rico is a guy that's never been hit in the face hard enough to know when to be quiet. But I admire the irrational confidence, though, because I think you need that. Right? Life is tough, man. You don't have to take it. Rico's like, bring it on. So I can rock.
I
with
go up
that.
to him all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, the chat is interesting because I kind of figured out what the disconnect is. This dude is mean mucking me. I kind of figured out what the disconnect is. Like
in the way we're talking about things.
Yeah, because my vantage point is it's just different.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm never gonna be a guy. And maybe these people, like nobody's made enough mistakes in their life or what, but I'm never going to be a guy that talks from a point of, I want my pound of flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me where I was right. Like I'm going to try to move on in the moment to be better. Like I can't go back and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can't go back and get something and you're held captive by it, it typically doesn't allow you to go forward. Like the irony in, let's just take, for example, like Lance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lance was a big, hey, we need more D-line. We need more D-line. We didn't address D-line. So that becomes the narrative. And let's say they're right. Okay. Let's operate under the assumption they're right. What good does that do you now?
Once you're in it.
Right?
Like you can't go and get anybody.
What you want is you want Nebraska to figure out and understand, okay, if in fact it is if we misdiagnose the D-line, why? Where'd we go wrong? Is it in our evaluation? Is it in the what we held them accountable for?
Is it physical makeup? Was it in their mental makeup?
Yeah,
was
like
it in the way we coach them?
They need to figure that out.
Where they feel like,
because what nobody talks about when they do these outlier comparisons with let's say a Signetti, and I hate the Indiana comparison because it is a definite outlier, but he clearly is very good at either one or two things. He either nails the personality profile of what he needs in his program, or whatever it is that's in that program gets no deviations. It's either one of those or both of those.
Yeah.
So, and he may be truly gifted at that.
He's clearly,
but it's an outlier, right? So there's more than like that's what I'm gonna focus on, right? Okay, if it's, well, Holgerson always does this and he did this, like, I'm not going to stay stuck in that because I can't function like that. Like there is no growth unless you're trying to figure out how you can get better, not how you can be more right.
Sure.
Like I can't really apologize. I get it. Some people are like that. I'm just not.
Here's I think where and this is where we often have a disconnect when we do, right? Is a lot of times I'll come from a fan standpoint and you approach almost everything from player coach standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I look at it and I'll go,
maybe.
I think a lot of times that's how it is. I think from my standpoint, a lot of times I'll look at it and I'll go, I try and be better about trying to find solutions instead of just complaining about stuff or wanting my pound of flesh. But I think when I do want my pound of flesh, I'm at least self-aware about that's what I'm doing. Right. Here's the other part though, is sometimes go ahead.
I'm not judging the pound of flesh people. I'm telling you that we're not ever going to come at it from the same continuum.
Right. Sure. That makes sense. I think there is also as someone who's never really been in a position to feel like I can impact outcomes, sometimes it's hard to be in the solutions business because my solutions don't matter.
Yeah. Now, hang on. Yeah, I get it. Right. Like Riley Pat, accountability is the key. Right. And you can arrive at it without being stuck in it. And that's a great starting point because where I think the disconnect is with some portions of the expectation levels versus what I think the frustration is when coaches take the podium. There's this like mythical thing that happens when people want it acknowledged that they were right about something. And when they don't hear that they're right, there's this thing where sometimes they assume you're being dismissive that you were wrong.
Okay.
And when those two things, so I can tell you, hey, listen, man, I can't go back and get that decision. I was super wrong. This is what I was thinking. This is why it was happened. But I can't be stuck there.
You know,
am I free to move on from that?
Sure.
Right. Like those are the kinds of things that you have to be able to say. So when a coach takes the podium and he's still coaching real time, he can't say, or he or she shouldn't say, hey, because if you're coaching and Dawn Staley takes the podium and she's like, man, such and such point guard, she hurt her knee in the offseason. I'm just looking at this thing, man. I don't know why we didn't go get another ball handler in the portal, right? And the fan base be saying, like, you put all your apples in that cart, and I knew this was going to happen, but Don still has to go coach those ladies in the locker room, right? So, do you need the outward acknowledgement? And if you do, at what cost is it for the growth? That's why I thought Coach Butler's presser yesterday was fascinating because, and I said early in the first segment, you took it one of two ways. You're like, oh man, if your prism was, we need this, and this, that's what you heard in the off season. If you're like, okay, where do we go from here? Is it going to reveal itself at Iowa? Then that's how you glean the information, right? It just depends on what your starting point was on what you thought. But regardless, do you want, if he said, hey, I'm accountable for, would we have been okay?
So there's two things in there that because I think it's interesting when you're talking about the way we process the information based on our preconceived notions of what was going on. Because a lot of people yesterday, I think, heard the part of the Butler press conference that said, hey, would it be great if we had 320 or 330 pound defensive linemen? Yes, of course it would be, blah, 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 whatever, right? But missed the end of that part where they said, but it doesn't matter. We have to be able to execute anyway.
And
it doesn't matter. We have to be.
Yeah, that's a big butter.
We have to be able to execute it anyway, right?
You realize
that's the second half of what he said.
But you realize when you start getting into specifics and measurables, you've boxed yourself in.
Yeah. Like we can only win in this way.
I don't know if that bears. I don't know what kind of fruit you bear.
I don't think a lot of coaches want to operate that way. Here's the other thing that I'm hearing you say, and people aren't going to like that I put it in these terms because it's very sort of whatever. People just want their feelings validated. That's all we're talking about. Where it's like, hey, I thought the D-line wasn't going to be good enough to stop the run, and then we're having trouble stopping the run. People just want to say, you're right. Maybe the D-line is.
So that's cool.
Which is fine.
But how do I coach?
So that's
how do I coach?
That's the disconnect.
Right, because you want those guys to coach players, and you don't want to use entitlement, and you don't want to use baby, and you don't want to use soft, and you don't. So, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, we're almost going to never be on the same page.
Right.
Because it's not practical in this realm to that degree, because you still have to have the day-to-day teaching, the day-to-day learning that goes on to keep developing.
Because Butler can't go out there and say, hey, our defensive line isn't good enough. And then
he doesn't have to say it to us. He can say, listen, RVP, when you're getting scooped, get vertical. Like, he can say that. I'm sure he does.
Sure.
He doesn't have to tell us that.
I know, but that's what we want. I don't
know.
I think that's part of what people want is they want them to say,
maybe
if
you might be right. I don't know.
If I didn't think the D-line was good enough, and then it looks like the D-line's not good enough, don't keep telling me the D-line's good enough. But as a coach.
But guess what? Do you know how you stop counter? Close backside B gap, and your front side linebacker has to be your money maker. Like, we don't want to hear that, though.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know what that means.
That's the other part of the problem.
We just don't. But that's what's. If you like, I'm not smarter than them. And most guys that draw stuff up, it's not an aptitude thing in terms of, oh, this is how we're getting beat. Like, if you want me to walk you through how to stop counter, I'm going to first start talking about how the initial down blocks are. Is it flat? Is it climb to second level? Where's the kick out? Where's the wrapper? Right. I've talked about this with 4 or 5 people that are really, really good. One guy played in an NFL. He played in the NFL for almost 10 years. Hey, at the end of the day, this is a really tough play to stop. What we would do is this, we would take out the first puller. We would spill the first puller. We'd control the second. We called it this, right? And he said, but it's really predicated on this. And I'm thinking to myself, that's interesting, right? As long as I can control B cap. I said, if I can just get out of the particulars, how would I teach it? I'd say, be violent at the point of attack, restrict the hole or condense the space, and trust. Be violent at the point of attack, restrict the space, and trust. That isn't size dependent. So you'll never, ever, 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 ever hear me talk about, well, this is what we need. Right. And people can be disappointed that we're still talking about emotional maturity. But when you bring new people into a program that is culture driven, I'm telling you, when your staff talks about doing hard things every day and your players talk about your coach asking you to do hard things every day, the culture is to do hard things every day. They just don't talk about that willy-nilly. What grown men take the podium as assistant coaches and talk about the expectation levels that their coaches set in terms of doing hard things every day? It's hard to admit out loud.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking about it, it's still a work in progress. You're getting your pound of flesh. You just don't look at it that way, because when men say it, we're like, oh man, I can't believe that we're still having this conversation at this stage and this. And I apologize. I'm not making fun of you. I shouldn't have even gone full-fledged character. What I'm telling you is it's still a thing. And to say it's still a thing is okay.
Yeah.
Because deep down, isn't that what we want? Like, it hasn't been good enough. And you still found some way to be 7-4, warts and all, which is what I've always said, with a chance at the 8th. That was always my expectation level. And I'm not defending me. I'm telling you that sometimes when we think it should look a certain way and it doesn't look a certain way, and we make these sweeping indictments, that doesn't make us right either. maybe you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's not like we're saying, oh man, maybe I should have adjusted my expectation levels. Like, as the person that thought what we thought going in, we're not willing to be flexible and say, oh, you know what, maybe I was off. But we're sure quick to criticize when it doesn't meet our expectations.
Sure.
Right? So that's always going to be,
because those are the only two options, right?
That's always going to be the rub. Right? Some people aren't going to do shows the way that we want them to. That's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Just means that maybe I need to adjust what my expectation level was.
Because
do you know what I mean?
Those are really the only two options, right? Is either I have to adjust my expectation level, or I have to find out, or I have to evaluate and say,
sometimes I just need more information.
Yeah. Like, and we can get to this before the season.
Like, I'm telling you, man, like, Nebraska's going to play their ass off.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'd take all 6 of the points. Is it still 6?
6.5, yep.
Now, listen, it would be very crazy to say, oh, Nebraska's going to win, because they almost never beat Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
But this game will be exactly what I think Nebraska fans want to see aesthetically in terms of how it's played. I do believe in my heart of hearts that Nebraska will answer the put 'em up mentality in this one.
Yeah. And that'll make the difference.
And we'll see.
I think.
I mean, you've had Nebraska has what, 1 win in the last? Wait, how many
10 years? They're 9 of the last 10, I think. Lost 9 of the last 10.
And the interim was the only coach,
Mickey
right?
Joseph was the only one that got it.
Yeah, he was free to be him.
Yeah, because he already knew he didn't get the job.
No, like, that's kind of how you maybe have to approach it. I don't know.
Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back for a short segment before we get to Tim Verghese, but we got to update our QB draft results.
Do we?
And, well, that's what the people are telling me.
Would we be updating it if the tandem wasn't about 4 feet from us?
Yeah, because TK texts me about every day about it.
Look at Austin learning to do hard things. He actually worked a full day yesterday, and he's back in the morning, and he looked sleepy. Welcome to my world. Oh, he's all grown up, little Jimmy Neutron.
I'm just glad he brought us a friend today.
Yeah, like, that dog is sensational.
Yeah, Ava's elite.
Like, I mean, his fiance must have done a heck of a good job raising that dog.
I'll say, I think, Austin, you had the dog first, didn't you? Yeah. Let's get to a quick break here.
My little half pint friend, he's like Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day. Wow. There's a mean bunch back there.
Let's take a quick break here.
Jackson's crabby. Suave's lobbing me the middle finger. Like, these two, man. That's a sweet sweatshirt too, buddy.
Let's take a quick break here. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. That's Hurrdat Sports Live.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Hyundai. Give thanks and get driving. Lease the 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE all-wheel drive starting at $269 a month. Built to make every mile smarter. Or step up to the 2026 Hyundai Palisade SEL Convenience all-wheel drive. Lease starting at $389 a month. Room for everyone, comfort for every trip. Don't miss these Black Friday savings. Hurry to Edwards Hyundai before they're gone. Learn more at edwardshyundai.com.
Yeah, Becca she's pretty fun to coach. She's challenging in a positive way. You know, she brings so much energy. She, always is the competitive fire. So if you're not doing something in practice that's super competitive, she's going to ask you, like, what are we doing this for? And I don't know, I felt like she's grown a lot in this 10 months as a leader, and I think she's really grown her love for just volleyball in general. She's always loved volleyball, but I feel like from January to now it's grown substantially, and so that's been really awesome to see. And Like she's the first one to speak up in team meetings, and one thing she says, like, of course, she wants to win more than anybody in our program, as much or more. So I know everybody wants to win, so I won't say more, but she's probably the most vocal about it. But she also is very adamant that she wants to, whether we win or not, she wants to, go out like loving these last few moments. And I think that's really cool as a leader and somebody who has fallen short the last couple of years to say that out loud. Like, yes, we want to win, but we want to go out feeling great about this season and this team.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you as we're going into the holiday weekend, things can get a little expensive. One of the ways that Centrist can help is with their Roundup program. It is a program with their Centrist Federal Credit Union Visa debit card where every purchase you make gets rounded up. That money gets sent directly from your checking to your savings account. It's a little way to save money while you're spending money this holiday season. Go check it out, centristfcu.org. Terms and conditions applied, federally insured by NCUA. All right, I guess it's time we got to update this graphic here with the QB draft.
Do you want to do quarterback draft first, or would you rather react to basketball clips?
Oh, I like your voice. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning to you,
I
too.
haven't heard you over the mic.
I know. Well, I just gave myself a mic because I wanted to do a little producing for you guys.
You seem so sleepy. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm tired.
He listens.
Don't really know I don't have my brain's not functioning at like 90% debaggery today.
You're usually quick and snippy. You are very
well, I'm not quick in everything, but got him. Ayo. Still got it.
I'm not going to follow up with anything there.
Out of nowhere.
Anywho, would you like to start with basketball, or would you like to start with your?
Let's do the draft real quick.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's going to take very long.
Yeah, it really won't because
oh, geez. Hold on. Who is that in first?
Crazy how that looks. Hold
on a second.
Well, again, because two people are running that team, that number gets divided in half.
That's not how that works.
You both have 134 point sheets.
That's got to be
Congratulations.
racist somehow.
100%.
But you're white.
Brown on brown crime. That's crazy. See that enough.
All right. We've got Austin and Rico in first, team TK right behind, 3 points back.
Boy, this is a barn burner.
Listen, I'm in third. I'm pretty happy with that.
You gotta credit. I don't really like giving TK a ton of credit, but his Gunnar Stockton pickup was
a good pick.
Really good pick.
Good pick.
And he's starting to heat up.
It was a good pick. He'd be in good shape if Barrett Morton didn't get hurt.
Yeah, and he's starting.
He's starting to get back going.
They're starting to get it going. TK is in pretty good shape, but
although I will say Kevin Jennings has gotten rolling pretty good for SMU as well. For Team Roston.
And he's out here acting like it's the circus. I don't know how much you watch SMU, but that
beautiful.
Dude has fun chopping guys up.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just out here making plays.
He's like what I wanted Tommy Castellanos to be.
Yeah, how is Florida State doing?
Pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
Do you know what the best part about our team is? Diego Pavia is like kind of in the Heisman race, so they're doing everything they can to get him to.
Oh yeah, one. It's like
vultures.
Yeah, it's like third and goal. It's QB run.
Yep. It was beautiful. I didn't even look at this. I looked at the stats when I was updating this, and he had like 6 touchdown passes or whatever. And I was like, you didn't need that. You didn't need those. They left. He was in the fourth quarter, and they're smoking. I don't even remember who they were playing.
Doja
Cat?
Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Like
my other favorite part of our team is going back to the draft when everyone said, "Oh, that guy's terrible. Oh, that guy's terrible. Dante Moore may not. It may not start. This year.
Julian Sane might not be a starter this year.
Interesting.
Although Moore does appear to be living on borrowed time most weeks." He got off to the blazing start. He's just treading water without his big guns.
He just likes to play on difficult mode. That's all.
Yeah, according to Ravi, 2 weeks ago, he went 2 hours of real time without completing a pass.
It was somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours. I don't think it got to the full 120, but it was reasonable.
He was arguing with DeMarinis. It was classic.
It was reasonable to round up. I mean, you go 2 hours real time and you're not playing at a service academy without a completion. That's a tough hang.
Wow.
And also, to be fair, I understand it went the other way, but it's not like we made up that Dante Moore and Julian Sane were in position battles. They were. Like, that's not a thing that we made up. They won them and they played well, which congratulations to you guys.
Yeah.
But
well, sometimes you just got to trust your guys, and we do. So we're just happy to put them in positions to win.
Sometimes you just got to let your players make plays.
We found out the best way to put Arch Manning for success was to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage and let his athletes make plays.
He's so good at it. He's so good at throwing the ball behind the line.
No one's better at throwing 300-yard games than Arch Manning. All right.
Boy, that has not panned out the way I thought. And even when it's supposed to look good, like he gets criticized.
Yeah.
He was on a heater there for like a handful of weeks, and people still didn't like it.
Well, it's check down merchant, but that's fine.
Wow, you got it.
You wish you had a check down merchant.
I do. I would love check down merchant instead of Drew Aller, weighing an anchor around my team. That'd be terrific.
Great first round pick, dude.
Ooh.
Kind of is what it is.
Jeez.
It's not like I picked DJ Lagway 1-1, but
there it is. All right. Now the quarterback draft is officially wrapped. All right.
Leave Tim alone.
So did you guys see this basketball clip that I'm going to show you here?
I also, it's not like I picked Lenore Sellers first overall either. Just so I'm not just picking on Tim.
I'm just over here minding my own business.
Yeah, let's hear this basketball clip. What do we got?
All right, so you can look at your screens. I'll put it up on there for you. So this was at East Butler last night. They were playing their Jamboree game, and I had this. So you see what's going on there?
They're passing the ball around the perimeter.
No,
watch the beginning.
Watch the beginning. He goes back.
Oh,
he's playing 3/4 court, and if you notice,
where's he going?
He's going back around because something else occurred in the pregame where the backboard was broken on a dunk. So they had to play the entire Jamboree on a 3/4 court.
So they basically
was it make it take it? Like they had the take back line?
I have no idea.
I was going to say they basically were using the take back line like you're playing in your driveway.
Yeah, there's a cone at like the free throw line on the other side. and they just have to go back and around the cones.
Oh, that is incredible.
I showed my wife this last night after Austin tweeted it out. She goes, "Well, how do you get a fast break?" I was like, "I don't think you do."
Yeah, there are no more fast breaks.
Like, you steal the ball.
You know one thing you never heard the coach say? Get back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Watch this dunk, though. I mean, come on. Bang.
It's a solid dunk.
I did do a little bit.
Those guys dunking preseason.
I hate this part of my job.
Warm-ups.
Hate this part of my job. I did do a little investigative reporting. Apparently, those backboards are from 1969, and they had yet to be replaced.
Well,
so now they will be replaced.
At least one of them.
At least one.
Shoot him. Well, the Makovic is dunking on that thing.
Oh,
Where did they play? They play their games there. That's
at Brainerd. Yeah. So
and they were bouncy too for little guys.
yeah.
Jeff and Joel.
It didn't even look like he grabbed the rim.
No, that was
looked like he just
100%. This is a 60-year-old rim. It's time to go.
give credit to the athlete. Jeez, come on.
Well, who had been yamming on that thing to wear it down? Like that explosive over
No one. It's been 60 years. They don't even make backboards out of the same stuff anymore.
A lot of bricks been hitting that thing.
I'm surprised that thing wasn't made of like the fiberglass from your driveway. Like not even the square, the like weird oblong shaped
Probably had asbestos in it, to be fair.
That's what I mean.
Be careful with that thing.
Like, we can't take it down because this will poison everyone.
It turned into Chernobyl there for a second. I had to be very cautious.
Dude said asbestos. Speaking of which, are you doing okay?
I'm a big Chernobyl guy.
Jelly roll. I am not okay.
Oh, you mean with the basketball situation?
I know you're a huge Nick Graves guy, so you had to be pretty pumped.
I'm not a huge fan of how that's going. I don't want to disparage the young man as a human being. I don't know anything about him. I don't love how he plays basketball. And I think the fact that he is the primary ball handler is a big problem.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work moving forward.
I was telling you guys in the group chat, though, with Coach Mack, and I get it. I love Coach Mack. Go ahead, do the voice. Do the voice.
Which voice?
Do the roar. Do the roar. When I say that I like Coach Mack.
Oh, you love Coach Mack. It's great.
He'll figure out the little key stretches, right? Like running that offense to Jason Green. And, Dix is inevitably going to get it going. But how they're going to initiate offense is going to be interesting.
I think Josh Dix ends up being your primary ball handler sooner rather than later.
What are they going to do with your boy Zugic?
I don't know. The Zugic is probably going to need to play more considering what the lineup has looked like and what
I can't get over this
roster has turned into. I think I know that not everyone's a huge fan of him. I do think he brings something to the table that I don't.
That's dirty peaches, right?
That smells terrible, man. I don't know what you're doing. That's a bad move.
I'm committed.
Yeah, you don't have to be, man.
Yeah. I don't believe in wasting.
Yeah, it's like water, though. Just get rid of it.
I know. I just want to know what it is. I want to get to the bottom without dumping it out and see what's in there.
You could dump it out and get to the bottom much faster.
Where's the fun in that?
You don't have to drink.
Finally said something that I can vibe with.
You don't have to drink dirty peach water. I don't know. That seems fun to me.
Peaches and bottoms, my favorite type of conversation. Timber Geese is coming up.
I think we should take a quick break here before Austin talks any more about being a bottom.
I thought it was apples.
No, it's peaches.
It's peaches. It's always been peaches.
The cream thing.
Where are you going?
Peaches and cream.
I know what it's about.
I'm a little lad who likes peaches and cream.
Yeah.
I think
it's berries and cream.
I think we should take a break. I think we should take a break.
What?
I kind of want to see how this plays out.
See, there he goes. This is the subtle lighting of the match. Walk away.
I just want Damon to keep talking because it just keeps getting worse.
I had questions.
Follow-up questions about peaches and bottoms.
No, I'm done.
And apples.
Yeah.
Let's
What other fruit we want to get to?
Go ahead.
Melons?
I'm a peaches over melons guy, personally.
I kind of knew that about you.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Ravi strikes me more as a raisins kind of guy.
California.
That's by his own doing.
Let's take a quick break here. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be back with Timber Geese here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Ram and Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs. Lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4 for $339 a month, or get $17,000 off MSRP. 2 locations, massive selections, or make room for every mile in the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited 4x4. Lease for $329 a month, or save $13,000 off MSRP. Luxury meets capability in every mile. Bigger savings at Edwards Ram and Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs.
Yeah, Iowa does what they do. You know, I've watched over the last couple of days. Back when I was at Penn State playing Iowa, I watched when I was at Minnesota playing Iowa. I watched us playing Iowa last year, and the only thing that changes are the names on the back of the jerseys. But in terms of how they play, I legitimately went up and watched the 2010, I believe, Minnesota-Iowa game last night, and it's essentially they're going to line up, they're going to run the run plays that they run out of, the formations that they run them out of. They're going to know how to block every front that you put out there. And it just comes down to, Matt just made a point to the players, that this is a game that comes down to their players versus our players. We're not going to be overly complicated on defense, not to say that we really were. We might have been a little bit too complicated last week just to try to stop the run, but we're going to line up and know that the run's coming and get off blocks and try to make tackles. Not try, we are going to do that and put our best foot forward.
We're in the neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. DB, I think, is coming back. I'm pretty sure. I think he's fumigating whatever was happening in that cup. He might need his time here. But we're joined now by our guy, Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
We're doing good. Here comes DB. There we go. he gets distracted. He went out and talked to some people, and so, it's all right.
Tim, do you really want to know what happened?
Yeah, talk to me.
This fits my personality. So for months, my fob hasn't worked, and it finally got updated this morning. So I'm getting all the uses of my fob out of the way this morning. I've walked outside. I've scanned the door twice. I walked the parking lot. I stopped on 2. I'm just enjoying the newfound freedom of my fob.
Making the rounds.
That is 100% what I just did. I made up a reason to go get to my car.
Tim, let me ask you this. We were having a food discussion earlier. What's your favorite fruit?
Ooh, favorite fruit. I'm partial to a really, really good mango.
They're so hard to find right.
Okay.
High
But it's
risk, high
tough.
reward.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's very hit or miss, and if you miss, it's not nearly as good. I think most consistent. I've really come around on strawberries as of late. I wasn't a strawberry kid growing up, but
Okay.
yeah.
TV, is there a fruit where you love the flavor but don't eat? What, you guys? You make me insecure.
Don't look at them. Don't look at them. We need like a two-way glass so that you can't see them.
Is there a fruit that you like as a flavor but you don't really rock with the fruit?
I love raspberry, the flavor. I'm very hit or miss on raspberry, the fruit, because of the texture.
Yeah.
Oh, big texture guy. You in or out on Jell-O?
I'm in on Jell-O. I was a Jell-O kid.
Yeah, I had some grits in Pennsylvania where I put the fork on the plate and it stood perfectly still. I was mortified. The flavor was outstanding. The texture, oh boy.
That's too thick for grits. What are we doing?
What about you? Is there a flavor you rock with but don't eat the fruit?
Yeah, so ironically enough, we were talking about this earlier. I don't necessarily care for peaches, but I love like the little peach rings. I love peach rings.
I think peach is hard to get right.
Yeah, like the flavor. Yeah, it's not everything, but I love a peach ring.
My go-tos of any flavor, whether it's gummy, whatever.
Yeah,
peach, apple, strawberry.
See, I like apples. I don't like apple flavored things.
Oh man, that's mine.
Like it almost always messes up. But I'll do I like apples. I like apple pie. I like all apple desserts. But the apple flavored like candies and stuff, I can't do.
You like turtles?
I like turtles.
TV. Let me ask you something. How did you look at Coach? We'll start with Coach Butler. How did you look at him taking the presser yesterday? Was it "I told you so's"? Is it "why now"? Is it "oh, okay, let's see how this is applicable to Iowa"? Like, what were some of the takeaways with how forthright he was?
I think it's interesting. I think it's just I thought a lot of it was you felt that way about, Rule Butler the last couple weeks. I really think you're feeling it now, where I think part of it is it's not putting your hands up necessarily, but based on what you want to do defensively, like the changes, to see significant progress and change to the run defense at this point will take personnel changes offseason and having the time to step back and really look at things where they don't really have that now. And I think that's part of I think the tone of yesterday was just we just kind of have to recalibrate and try again on Friday. But if you want to see real progress at this point, it's coming in the off. It'll have to happen in the off season.
Banana's a good one. I like the flavor. I hate the fruit.
I use, I ride with Travis. I'm with him on the mangoes thing. I love a good mango. Mango flavor. I avoid the bubonic.
The plague.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, TV. I don't want to get too distracted.
Let me ask.
I know, because immediately Austin was thinking, "Ooh, the chronic." No, man, I'm past that, Austin. I don't smoke. Because I felt like, all right, how applicable is kind of what he's saying to what they're going to do against Iowa? Because I don't care if it's 3, 4, or 5 down. They tried it all. Almost very little 3 down in State College. It's still going to be about violence at the point of attack and getting to where you need to be. Can you see that being something that is significantly better in 5 days?
Yeah, it depends on, again, players. Coaches, obviously it's on them to kind of rally, but I think they've made their point. I think they've conveyed the sense of urgency and just what needs to happen. I think it needs to happen with the play. I feel like I've repeated myself a few times over the last couple of weeks, but it just kind of feels like at this point it's execution and it's on players to get off the line and kind of harp on the coaching points, get off the line quicker, strike, you know what I mean? Tackle, get into right pursuit, like all this stuff is coached. It's not like they're not doing these things in practice, you know what I mean? But it's more so just the execution of it, where is again, from a tone standpoint, I think there's a little frustration there too that it's not happening maybe like it is in practice, or maybe like they're seeing in practice, and it's not like what they're doing in practice isn't necessarily translating to the field in terms of the consistent execution.
Tim, let me ask you this. If I take Minnesota off the table, because I think we all agree on that one, which loss bothers you the most this year?
I mean, I thought about, we talked about this, me and Steve and Zach this weekend. USC, even though like you can put your hands up and say Dylan got hurt and like a lot, the tone of that game changed with the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
If that screen to Ja'Cory hits, I think that game potentially changes. I think the tone of the season and the momentum of this team potentially changes down the stretch. And how we're talking about this team at this point of the year potentially changes. Now, does that change the overall, like, okay, what do we think zooming out bigger picture? I mean, zooming out bigger picture, I think for me, there's some stuff in the Michigan game where it's like, okay, like there were signs there that on both sides of the line of scrimmage, Nebraska still has a bit to go to compete with the top end of the conference, because you turned around and saw that and saw Michigan where they stand in the conference, where they're still trying to punch up against the Ohio States and the Oregons and the USCs of the world, where they went to USC. And, so I think that's the one where from an overall big picture, what this team needs to do and where this team is, there's still a bit to go along the lines of scrimmage.
All right. So TV, I always talk about where these guys are emotionally, right? I know people get mad at me, but it definitely matters with this team. Otherwise, they wouldn't talk about it so much. Is there a game in a similar fashion where you think, okay, I'll take this mindset this Friday to give us the chance to win, since we do know that the mental makeup does seem to kind of buoy from week to week?
I thought, honestly, like, Cincinnati's a weird one, but like just those games where they've had the stick-to-itiveness through 4 quarters. Michigan State, Northwestern, like that stuff where that fight has been there, and there's been this like
it's given me Northwestern vibes.
Yeah, like you've seen, exactly. Like late in the third, fourth quarter, like the leaders on the team are stepping up and clearly want this.
Tim, if you sorry, DB's shooting hoops over here. I got distracted. Trying to see if he made it. He did not.
DB, the worst thing that my employer decided to do was to have these shows in headquarters, because I'm much more disciplined at the old spot. There's just too much freedom for a guy with an attention span like mine. There's looking glass. There's trash receptacles. There's couches. There's these weird walls. Like there's bright lights. It's sensory overload.
Tim, let me get to recruiting here for a second before we get on a little bit more to Iowa. We haven't had a really chance to talk about this at all this week. Big commitment of Amir Brown earlier over the weekend. Real quick before we get into who's left in terms of I think DB just changed the screen there a little bit. Can we put there we go. Before we get to visitors and who's left on the schedule and things like that, just tell me a little bit about what Nebraska's getting with Amir Brown.
Yeah, like he's a guy that I think you're going to see in this offseason. Going to see, I think, a nice bump up in the rankings just based on what he did as a junior, and his overall profile and what you're really looking for in college football these days at the running back position. Like he's a guy that this staff is comped to Emmett Johnson. We've talked a couple other backs, just a modern back of. He brings that modern, runs with a low, kind of center of gravity, changes directions quickly, powerful between the tackles, and it is pretty explosive, and has some long-term upside as like an every down back. Like I think he's a guy that you start off in like these short yardage situations because of just his violence and just the explosiveness in that short area. But he's fully capable, like, it's heavy personnel. He breaks 1-2 tackles, like he's fully capable of housing that thing. He's got that long and speed. For him, it's a lot of still continuing to develop. He's got good vision, but I think developing just the continuing to harp on just the shiftiness between the tackles, working through traffic, not bouncing things outside too early. But I think he does a lot of stuff at a really high level, and I think this program should be really excited about this addition, because this is a guy that they've had a pretty big 27 running back board. They're going to take at least one more here in the 27 cycle. But Brown was the guy that they offered mid-season based on what they'd seen from him. While he was still committed to North Carolina, he decommitted, made 2 visits to Nebraska, and flipped, not moved very quickly compared to some of the other targets they have on the board. But you look at what he can do as a pass catcher in the short area, and then again down the line as he continues to develop what he can be as an every down back. A lot of reason to be excited, just because you can see a world where 3-4 years down the line he's working at like an in an Emma Johnson kind of role.
So let me ask you something, TV. As you look at Nebraska's roster, what you think, and I guess we'll wait on the portal, but we can speculate here a little bit. You've reconciled what was going to happen in the 26th class. Anomaly, something, nothing. It was always going to be small. When you look at the roster, could you see how this was going to break out all along?
Just in terms of this class being this small?
Yeah.
I don't think I even anticipated this small. Like, I thought they'd get to maybe 15, but I think assessing their strategy, I've sat on it for a couple of days just because there's a lot happening over the last couple, but assessing their strategy over the last couple of weeks and all of that, I think there's a certain point of return relative to where this program needs to be in 26 and how young the roster is and the limited spots you have. And okay, like, you have these limited spots available. What do you want to do with them? I think there's a sense of not cutting your losses necessarily, but you look at the resources you have, you look at what you need to address. And I think what it was maybe at the beginning of the season, what they felt they would need to address this offseason is different now. I think they know now they maybe need a little more at defensive line, linebacker, like they need a little more. So I think there's an element of them entering some of these recruitments and backing off and like pulling the plug on some of this, late in the 26 effort, is conserving some of these both rev share numbers, like conserving from a financial standpoint, conserving resources there, and conserving roster spots to address imminent needs along a young developing roster that they believe is generally, as an overall roster, like a year away. Like 26, all these guys will be a year further, all these young guys on the roster will be a year further, and you complement that with and I think that's something that's still like evolving even over the last 2 weeks. Like, they made JUCO offers like 2 weeks ago that this past weekend they were like, just got word that they're moving on from. Like, it wasn't put to me that those guys canceled Nebraska visits. It was Nebraska canceled those visits. And it wasn't a spin, and talking to the players on that side, I guess that was how it was put to them too, was, Nebraska kind of assessed where the money was at with those guys, how those guys would maybe fit in the roster, and decided to move. So this is an evolving thing where I think at this point they look at what they need to address. They look at where the roster's at currently, and I think they're pooling most of their resources here for the transfer portal and addressing those needs in the portal.
TV, we're going to get Pat Stewart for our recruiting special for the network. What would you ask him? Would it be more to do with allocations or kind of the value of each of the allocations in terms of where they would like to spend?
I think the value, because I kind of have it like allocations. I think he'd tell you this. I think everyone would tell you this. It depends on the talent, depends on the player, depends on depends on all of that. Like the full, you need the full picture, and so I'd ask the second part of that, which would be, what positions are you willing to spend beyond what your ideal like limit would be to get an impact player. Like if you're at the negotiating table, with he's not entering the portal again, but like a Jamal Jarrett or one of these big time defensive tackles that ended up at one of these big time programs. At what point do you say, okay, our hands are up, like we're off of that? Because Nebraska knows they have resources in certain things where they don't need to be the highest bidder necessarily. It's good to have that. Like that's the way I put it to people. When Rules talked about the, needing the resources, it's not necessarily about having the resources to go out and bag guys, because that's not how this program's ever going to operate. But it's about having a seat at the table. Last year, I put it on X yesterday. Last year, you look back at the portal, who was there at defensive tackle? Nebraska, there's like who's going to replace Ty and Nash? The guys that were actually capable of doing that, there's like a handful of those guys that actually entered the portal last year. And those guys ended up at places like Texas Tech.
Are you talking about like second-year Ty or six-year Ty?
Six-year Ty.
Okay.
Yeah, like that level, like that kind of player. Like, because they, that is what the comment was yesterday was Nebraska knew they were losing Nash and Ty. Why did they tried? Like they went into the portal looking for impact defensive tackles. The guys that were capable of having that type of impact, there were only a handful of those guys really in the portal, and those guys ended up at Texas Tech, Oregon, Texas, USC. The programs that spend money, that the elite spenders. And so when Rule talks about wanting money, it's not about having the money so you can go bag those guys. It's about having the seat at the table, because those guys entered the portal and immediately they were like, hey, it's these 6 or 7 schools. No one else can even meet this limit. Now Nebraska can say, hey, we can actually meet you there. And from there, we will
at least they'll have the choice whether to say, yeah, we want to do this or not.
They want the choice. Exactly. They want the choice to be like, okay, hey, we have a seat at the table. You want to come visit and check us out? They're not going to take anybody for the sake of taking anybody. Like Boo Carter's in the portal right now, talented defensive back from Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams would love to have that guy, but you need to do your due diligence and homework and make sure that guy's fits in your locker room. So Nebraska's not going to do that necessarily, but that's what I'm really curious, I think, from Stewart's end as they enter the portal this cycle is program. I think defensive tackle is one of those positions where there may not be a number. There may be a thing of, I don't think there's a cap on what that impact can, like what an impactful player at the defensive tackle position, what that can have for the rest of our defense. Because, okay, hypothetically, you add an impact defensive tackle to this roster, what that does to elevate Keona Davis and Williams and Renari and K. Petra, and the guys around him, I don't know what number you put on that. So that's what I'm curious to ask. But then there's other positions like, hey, if Emmett does leave for the NFL, what's your number at running back? And how many do you add? How do you look to address running back if Emmett Johnson declares for the NFL draft?
TV, how would you talk? How would you talk me off the ledge? I wouldn't even be on the ledge, but I would, because the portal talk is fine, right? I'm okay with the portal talk, and you have to supplement as long as it doesn't supplant, because I still think this is a developmental program. How would you explain to me, like I'm 5, that you can supplement in the portal, but don't let yourself off the hook with development? Because I still, at the end of the day, Nebraska made a conscious effort. They looked at the defensive line, and I get the effort. You may have tried to get this guy, but there was a style in which they wanted to play, right? And it was going to be a movement front, and they wanted to do a lot of things. So I think there's this critical piece where they have to ask themselves, okay, why did this not go the way that we wanted to? Was it an eval thing? Is it a psych profile? Is it like there's things that go into the development portion that coaches need to be held responsible for that isn't in correlation with the portal? How do you and I have that conversation?
Yeah. So I think part of it goes into a bigger conversation of, I wonder if the tone of these last few press conferences from Butler and Rule hint at some philosophical changes to the front seven, like changing how they, instead of being a quick attacking front, being obviously getting bigger, but being more of a 2-gapping front and playing that way where you are still able to, play relatively light in the box against the teams that, you're worried are going to throw over you, and still be able to defend the run at a high level. And again, I think that's something that is evolving and shifting. And so that's part of that conversation is, well, they're changing. Well, hypothetically, if they are changing that, well, they need to you can't pack the pounds on some of the guys, and like those guys fit something of a different personnel. You can figure out how to utilize, because there's roles for those guys and figuring out how to use those guys around them. But you'd have to change personnel a little bit up front. The second part of that is, okay, well, let's say they don't really change a whole lot, but they do add. Well, I think next year, again, I talk about you add a bigger time defensive tackle to the defensive line room that has a Keona Davis and a Williams and Renari and a Katie Petroff. Nebraska taking a step forward as a defense isn't just that individual guy's addition. It's the guys around him taking a marginal step forward. And all three of those guys are guys that have been better and have clearly been developed at Nebraska. And that's where I would say that's the push and pull. And then you look at, in the secondary, other positions where, like the secondary, I don't anticipate a whole lot of addition. They may make one splash one, but again, it's one to elevate everybody else around it. Rex Guthrie and guys in that secondary will look better when they're playing next to athletes that are much better. That's not to say they aren't right now. I think Deshaun Singleton's playing at a very high level. I think even regardless of the loss on Saturday and some of the issues, I think Deshaun Singleton played very well. I think there's individuals in that defense that are playing at a very high level. I hope that makes sense, of just like you add an impact player and the marginal development of everybody else is what overall elevates the play of the overall unit. And that's where development comes in. And that's how a lot of rosters are built. That's how, like in this day and age, like how, like a lot of even good units.
I'm the guy on the whole. You don't have to necessarily be bigger. You have to be better.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm going to land that goddamn plane there. I'm over the size talk. Right? Like be better.
For sure. Okay, like I had this conversation yesterday with my buddy that covers Oklahoma. Venables knows, like Venables finds these sawed-off, relatively average, not impressive-looking pass rushers and turns them into like R. Mason Thomas, Taylor, like the guys that they're getting edge production from. And it's always guys that they're not the physical freaks. They're not the what, like, but that's Venables, and he knows what to do, and he's had success with those kind of those specific guys in that specific role for years. That's what I think the next step forward for Nebraska is figuring that out. And I think they had an idea, like early on, you had in the first 2 years of Rule under Tony White, I think you had a sawed off kind of edge that played that role at a pretty good level. MJ Sherman, and you saw a little bit of that last year too, from I think Prince Will as well. I thought you saw again in flashes, in moments, not necessarily consistently, but you saw stuff like that. I think overall as a team, I think there's overall going to be an assessment of mentality, want to, and what it takes to play in this defense, assignment sound. It's tough. It's tough to play assignment sound defense in the way the staff asks consistently. You have to be wired a specific way. I think there are guys in this building that are playing at a high level in this defense that can do that and are doing that, but it takes all 11. And right now, all 11, I don't think all 11 are at that level consistently.
Tim, if we're going portal shopping and I say, I can guarantee you an all Big Ten player at one of these two spots, interior linebacker or somewhere on the defensive line. Which one are you taking? Based on assume everybody that's on the roster right now that you like is coming back.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think if you can guarantee that level of play, I think I would weirdly say no. I'd still say D-line, just because what that would do and open up for the athletes you have in the back. Back there, I do anticipate Dawson Merritt to continue developing and Vincent Shavers to continue developing. But what again, a Big Ten level defensive lineman can do to open up linebackers at the second level in terms of reading and playing, and some of the stuff Nebraska has struggled with in this year, in my opinion, has been not having, or not having the length and the size and the athleticism and the overall instincts at the linebacker position to consistently fill those holes. I would say defensive line, because of what that opens up for the linebackers at the second level. But I can see the argument for both. I just think at this point, what a defensive lineman, an all Big Ten level defensive lineman does for any defense, but what it can do For what I do think are good athletes that are still somewhat figuring it out at the second level, young guys in the defense that are figuring it out at the second level, I think what they could do for them and make things easier on them, like what the impact of Nash and Ty had on John Bullock, and what that could do hypothetically for like Dawson Merritt and Vincent Shavers next year.
So let me ask you this. Out of the guys that we expect to be on the roster next year already, do you think it's more likely that there is currently an all Big Ten player out of that group on the defensive line or out of that group from the linebackers?
I can see, again, it depends on what you add, like, because when I even say like adding someone around Keona, maybe just my personal belief in Keona Davis and Williams and Minari specifically. If you add like, I'm not even saying like, let's say not a Big Ten, like a Big Ten conference level, but just like a true plug and play, girthy defensive tackle that can take up multiple blocks, what that could hypothetically do for Keona Davis and Williams and Minari if they're locked in on their development and take a step forward. I think Keona and even Williams in flashes are both capable of that, of being those kind of players.
More so than anybody in the linebacking room next year?
I think so. But like, yeah, that's just that. Yeah, I think so. Would you all disagree?
Well, I wonder what elite athleticism at linebacker looks like.
So that's why I asked the question, right? I agree that I think if I just take, hey, next year, I think it's more likely that one of the guys in the defensive line room becomes an all-conference player than someone in the linebacking room. But that's why I asked the question the way I did, because I do wonder what an elite athlete at inside linebacker looks like with this defense, because I do think that's been a factor here.
I don't know necessarily if he's elite, but I do think Dawson Merritt's a high-end athlete. Like I think I do like watching him move around and do things. I do think, especially as he continues to get wiser and see the field more and do that, I think he is down the line capable. Is that going to happen in his sophomore year? I don't think so, but I think that's 3-4, like year 3, year 4 down the line. Like I think he's a guy that, again, maybe not an elite athlete, but when you pair high-end athleticism with the instincts he does have, and as that continues to pair, as the eyes translate to the college level, I can see that guy being, down the line. But that's a down the line and banking on development going right conversation.
Yeah, I think to that, and I'll let you get out of here on this, Tim. I think for me, I'd like to see the athleticism, the twitchiness on the second level improve. But if I could wave the magic wand for an interior guy to make the next step, because I'm sick of hearing about the whole Ty Nash thing with 6-year Ty Robinson versus 2nd or 3rd year Ty Robinson. Give me some development from a guy like Riley Van Poppel for next year, and let me see what that looks like before I hit the panic button.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I think I'm glad you keep bringing up it's 6-year Ty Robinson, because I think it's an important distinction to make, and I think that's something that a lot of people around here don't acknowledge, even myself, enough of like it was year 6 for him, 1, and 2, like a guy playing at that level in year 6, like just again the age, the advantages he had, and all, like it's tough to find that. Like I'm telling you, go look in the portal right now.
Like Jaden Jackson at Oklahoma, he's a senior. What I mean? It's like, I don't know.
Like it takes time for these guys to get to this point of like you look at, again, at the recruiting level, like we see these guys come in with like these top 10 or 5-star defensive linemen, and it takes 2-3 years for these guys to really figure it out and click on the feet. Like Nebraska just a couple of weeks ago saw Jakeem Stewart at USC. And that guy's playing rotational snaps as a year 1 5-star defensive lineman. And when he wins, he is solely winning off athleticism. There's not a whole lot else happening for him besides when he wins, it's just he is the much better athlete than the guy lined up across from him. That guy's going to be a monster in year 3 or 4 if he stays locked in. But what it looks like right now is not that of like a necessarily like a 5-star player because of what you're getting on a snap-to-snap basis. Because sometimes he just gets ragdoll out of the play. Sometimes he's not in the right run fit. Sometimes he's completely washing himself out of the play. But other times, just off the sole athleticism, he's in the backfield before the quarterback's even handed it off to the right. You know what I mean? Like, that is just it takes time for these guys to develop, but at that position, it's a very hard position to develop. It's why, despite the loud noise, I continue to be bullish on Terry Braden, the long-term recruiter and relationship builder, because he builds good relationships. He establishes a level of belief in these guys, and you've seen what that can do for a guy like Cade Petchuk in year one. And like, again, like Malcolm Simpson and Tyson Terry are not playing. They counted on those guys, at least one of those guys, having an impact in the rotation this year. How much does that help necessarily? I don't know, but that's another bigger body you could have thrown in there. And I think very, very, very highly.
It's still not ideal to be playing a freshman or
no,
a
definitely
shirt,
not. It's certainly
I mean?
not, and certainly not. But that is the situation that Terry Braden and John Butler inherited. It's not a situation that they had much control over necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they inherit, and so it's something that's not ideal. It's something that down the line, they want the long-term outlook on this room. I think is still positive if these guys continue to develop. It's a big if. It's a big, make sure these guys are locked in and stick around at this program. But I am bullish on Terry Braden, the developer, the coaching points he has, the way he believes in his guys, and what he like. Again, the relationships he's built, and the 27 and 28 recruits you talk to that he's working on, they do speak very, very highly of him. But I understand people want instant results, and they want things to happen. It doesn't happen that way at the defensive line. They're kind of banking on a longer term development with the overall room, and that is why I think the part of the calculus changes into this offseason, where I think you do need to add an instant impact player to accelerate the development of the guys around them, to kind of bring all of this into a circle.
Tim, let you go on this. How do you think how you seen it go against Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's another one of those, like, another one of those games. You got to stop the run. You got to play physical. You got to play through 4 quarters. I have no based on what we've seen from Iowa, and the records will say one thing. Based on what I've seen from Iowa this year, based on what I've seen from Nebraska this year, I feel like it's going to be another 1-score game that comes down to the very, very end. Just based on what we've seen, have to kind of favor Iowa here, but I genuinely think at this point, I think home crowd advantage is going to matter in this game. I think Nebraska and the guys in the room in the program understand the sense of urgency here. I think the immediate turning of the page post Penn State was intentional. I wouldn't even be surprised if a lot of
weird balance, isn't it? It's super intentional.
It's very intentional of like this, hey, like dial in, because like this is an opportunity here, and like, hey, like, I mean, like Damon, like, and then honestly, like, again, the coaching staff's never going to say that. Honestly, at what point in that Penn State game do you think the staff was like, all right, on to Iowa? Like, at what point in the game was it just like, because that is a winnable, based on what you can't coach your way out of the deficit they got themselves into with the personnel you have. And
by the time he took the podium, it clearly was a thing. Because I don't even think, like, how many players did they make available? A couple?
Yeah, it was a handful.
I'm telling you, we were 45 minutes ahead of schedule getting out of there.
Yeah.
Keeping it a buck.
Yeah, but no, like, I think part of that, all of that.
I just talk about Jaden Jackson too. I'm talking, the Dominic Williams, the Royais, the Grayson Holtons, those guys at OU, because Jackson had the 1 year at IMG too. So I would technically call him like a super soft, but like those guys are older, and their rotation. Everybody talks about that deep front at Oklahoma. Because I use them as an example of, because you use Venables in terms of his development. Like, our Mason Thomas he can't be but like 255, right? There's this style in which you can play that lends itself to negating actual like girth. And I tell these guys, like, restrict holes, violent hands, good feet, and trust. Like, you can stop the run by starting there. It doesn't have to be this mythical, put it in a lab, pour it out kind of thing. I mean, Indiana and Iowa stop the run, and they don't do it with 300-pounders. So it can be done.
No, but I would also say like the Oklahoma point's good because Demonic Williams was one of those like big ball. He's a really
He's a
good
squad.
player.
He's like, what is he? He's the plug guy you're talking about, like the
That's what I'm saying.
6'1", 320 guy.
You plug that kind of guy in and what that did for the rest of the room around him, because Oklahoma needed that. Oklahoma, the defensive line play under Brent Venables there before Williams got there, there were flashes, again, from individuals in that room. They weren't playing as an overall unit the way Brent Venables' D-lines traditionally play.
Yeah.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese, Inside Nebraska. Tim, appreciate the time as always. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks,
TJ. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Appreciate y'all.
That is Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. Let's take a quick break here before we wrap up the show. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs. Lease the 2025 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport S 4x4 starting at $359 a month, or take $10,000 off MSRP. 2 locations, massive selections. Or get behind the wheel of a 2025 Jeep Gladiator High Tide 4x4. Lease starting at $299 a month and get a $1,500 gift card back. Truck muscle, Wrangler Spirit, bold selection. Bigger savings at Edwards Ram and Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs.
Yeah, I definitely, obviously, it's a new experience for me, but definitely feel like it's going to be a thing to do, having to control your emotions, not trying to get too emotional, too sad, or too anything like that, and just staying in the moment, enjoying the game, being present. I don't know if I could pinpoint a specific moment, but I would probably just say like the time with my teammates, getting to know my teammates, I feel like I've really built some lifelong connections here, so I'm super thankful for that. So I just think that, just my time with my team, time with the DBs, whether it's like us watching film at my house or like us going out to eat or our Thursday night dinners and stuff like that, like those are probably my favorite moments. It's funny you asked that. Like I was just earlier today, I was talking with Marsh and I was like, man, we're really in Nebraska. Like it's crazy, like being that, as a kid from LA, like you wouldn't even think like that's where, you would end up. But, life, everybody's journey is different. Life takes you wherever, and I think that, being here has been a great thing for me. So last year when I was at Iowa, I definitely was like, dang, like this is crazy. Like I've never even expected to be at this stadium, but it was really cool experience.
Centris Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports headquarters. We got a dog in the building. We're just hanging out. We're having a good time.
Are we going back to the regular studio next week?
I think so. Yeah, we needed to have consecutive days where the internet didn't go out, and I think today would be day number 2 if we can get it. So
Austin is clearly waking up.
He is. I think the energy drinks are finally hitting. I think he may have OD'd on some of the energy drinks over the last couple of days over at State.
He's tricking his body. What you need is some dirty peach water. That's what they drink in the dirty South. That's what my man T. Farley.
Nobody needs dirty peach water.
Would recommend some of that Georgia water.
As stated earlier, I do like eating peach.
Dirty. What they? I caught that. Not doing that again.
What? Not a fan of peaches?
No, I like
just trying to get my serving of fruit.
Fruit's important.
Daily dose.
It's good for your diet, fruit.
Yeah.
DB, what is the most interesting head coaching situation for you right now? Because I have sort of a list of ones that I'm monitoring. Obviously, Oklahoma State just hired their coach, Eric Morris from North Texas. I thought it was really interesting. Jim Mora apparently is taking the Colorado State job, which I don't even know what UConn's doing with the football program now.
Well, they're in purgatory.
Yeah, like as long as you're independent, why do you even have a football program?
They're in purgatory,
right? Drop down to FCS or something. I don't know what to do with you, but we've got John Summerall, who I think is fascinating right now. Canceled.
I was going to go with Coach Hoiberg.
Oh, okay. I was talking college football, but that's fine. What do we got with Coach Hoiberg?
Well, that's the most interesting thing to me.
All right. What's interesting about Coach Hoiberg?
Well, I don't know. Turning the corner is a little low hanging, but that's one where at least appears right now that patience paid off
in terms of the athletic department.
Correct.
So I've thought about this a lot because
that's not where you wanted to go.
We can if you'd like. I mean, obviously they're 7-0, having a great start to the year. Didn't love
when they're on national broadcast and people are talking about Nebraska's win streak, and you've been as poor a basketball program as Nebraska has historically.
That's terrific.
Probably that's impressive.
We
still have the elusive tourney win, right?
Yes. Didn't love how it looked against Winthrop yesterday, but they figured out a way to win. But Winthrop's solid. I mean, that's a good bit. Was it Big South? I think ball club. That's a team that's going to have every opportunity to be in the tournament this year.
They could have easily beaten Arkansas.
Yeah,
and I watched that game.
That game is not as bad as the name Winthrop would lead you to believe.
Yeah. Do you kind of like my 4 teams that I landed on?
Tell me them again.
Purdue, Gonzaga.
Oh, for teams that you think are good?
Purdue, Gonzaga, and Arizona. Now, I'm not pressing pause on Houston after yesterday, but I had Houston in that deal.
Kind of in the
anybody you'd like to add?
At this point, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Let me take a quick gander, make sure I'm not missing anybody.
A peekapoo?
Let me just make sure, sometimes off the top of the old dome, I forget things. Purdue, Arizona.
I want to get out in front of this early. I'm on the Gonzaga. I told you after
immediately
they hammered Creighton that's a good Gonzaga team. It's not because they hammered Creighton.
No, just how it looked, like how they look, right? Yeah. What are you doing with Duke?
I don't like that Duke is young in the interior. But again, I'm a guy that's not high on Boozer. So
right.
I've just seen that shoe game circuit for a long time. I don't know about Duke. I think they're going to have a really hard time with a team with any physical interior toughness like that. Athleticism. Like I have no idea who'd guard DK.
Yeah.
Like just for instance.
Yeah.
Right. And listen, Pete would give Boozer.
He would give him the business.
The business.
I don't know. So Pete's funny because we had this conversation in the group chat I don't know what he projects to in the NBA, but he is a really, really good college basketball player. Okay, like both those things can be true at the same time, right?
He's
if you look at him as a prospect, you're okay, maybe a little undersized, don't really know what his skill set is for what position.
He is physical, he's competitive, he finishes around the rim.
But in college, he is a phenomenal basketball player.
Yes, he is, and he's just a pup.
And so there's plenty of time. I think maybe he's probably not like an Aaron Gordon athlete, although physicality, I think long term you could maybe project that type of role on a team if he can figure out the jump shot a little bit and have that consistency there. But no, I think out of the teams that I've seen,
I think you'll like Louisville. I just don't know if they're going to get easy enough buckets.
So yeah,
they're pips.
Yeah,
but they're good.
I think the team I like the most is Arizona.
Yeah, just because of how they played against UConn. So then you like UConn.
I mean, I don't like UConn, but I always think UConn's good. Okay. I don't love solo ball. I don't really know. It might be a little bit too. The guy's name is escaping me. The guard that's been there forever, the white guy. Caravan. I don't know.
Alex.
I kept wanting to say Kaliak Manis, and I was like, that's a different AK. Alex, it might be a little too Caravan centric if solo ball isn't the guy they need solo ball to be. So I don't know totally what that looks like. I also know, as much as I hate him, Dan Hurley's an incredible coach, and they're going to be way better at the end of the year than they are now. So I'm probably betting on UConn more than I like them right now. I do think Arizona's very good. I'm a little hesitant on Purdue just because they're really good, but I think I've seen too many Purdue teams that I thought were good not end up being who I thought.
Are you a lawyer guy?
No, I don't think so. I probably need to watch a little more, if I'm being honest.
So you probably go right now in the Big Ten.
I mean, Purdue's still
Purdue,
clearly, yeah.
Michigan, Illinois.
I might like Illinois more than Michigan.
I think Michigan's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I like stylistically, I like the Europeans a lot. So I really like Illinois and all their Iloviches, I think Stojakovic for there is really good. I like him a lot. They got Tommy back.
I was surprised to see him finishing around the rim.
Yeah, if he can
Stojakovic.
If he can do that consistently, that's a big deal for them. I like stylistically.
I'm just trying to slot Nebraska, and there's some Michigan States. I think Indiana is sneaky, especially as DeVries rounds in the form.
What do you think about Iowa? I watched them last night.
I know they're so well coached.
So that's the thing. Every time I've seen them twice this year. I think.
Yeah, they're really well coached.
And I'm watching them. I go, I love I am fascinated by how well coached they are because
and I don't think Nebraska doesn't get them until around. I think it's. What's the fake holiday home or until around
Valentine's Day?
Around there,
mid-February.
Like that's the 16th, 17th.
Oh, are they backloaded both, or did you play them once this year? Do they backload both of them in the last 2 weeks?
They might be backloaded.
Let me look.
But I don't think they get them until February. But I always look at that game.
How many people?
I like Iowa though.
I do too, and I also this. Bennett Sturtz very much fits my eye.
Yeah.
That's a guy I'm
highly skilled, gives you Curry vibes, plays 40 minutes.
Like that. And it's all the little stuff, doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time, but is really good with the ball in his hands. Really good connector piece as well as having star potential.
They haven't lost yet, have they?
I don't believe so. I think I don't think they've lost
5 or 6-0. So they're
I like Iowa. And listen, McCollum's
Big Ten's going to be pretty deep.
McCollum's I don't know. I'm a little obsessed with that guy.
I thought both those hires were sensational.
I can't believe the maturity that Indiana had to hire DeVries because he was only at West Virginia for the 1 year. Wasn't the sexiest hire. I mean, he was
it didn't look the way that they wanted to, but Tucker got hurt.
Yes, and as good of a coach as DeVries is, and I think he was a little bit of a hot commodity, he wasn't Indiana in the past has tended to go oh, we're going to bring in we're going to bring in Brad Stevens from the NBA. Like, that's what Indiana's tried to do. I think it showed a ton of maturity from their athletic department. Be like, hey, who's a really good basketball coach that can build things, right? And I think Darren DeVries is a great example of that. I thought the Iowa hire was maybe the best hire of the cycle. McCollum's incredible.
Yeah, he's legit.
Like, he's really good at what he does. We'll see long-term if he can recruit at a level high enough to be able to sustain high-end, like top 4 or 5 finishes in the Big Ten. Because that's the one thing on his resume we don't know. But in terms of like actual coaching acumen, there's not a lot of guys in the country for coaching acumen that I'm taking over Ben McCollum.
You think Nebraska can continue to play 8 guys over 14 minutes?
I think probably, yeah.
I mean, because Leo Curtis isn't healthy.
It doesn't bother me.
So it's been Jacobson, Asigian, Hoiberg, Lawrence, Frager, Sanford, and Mass.
Yeah, and then you maybe toss in Curtis when he gets healthy, if he gets healthy. So you got 8.5 rotation. That's about what I want. I want about an 8.5, 9 tops rotation.
Okay.
8's too little. You need a guy.
Although Garcia, like, they've got some guys that are going to be interesting, though.
I think if I have my perfect world, I've got 8 guys that I know are going to get 10 or more minutes. And then I've got 1 guy I can play 15 if I need to, or 5, and he's okay.
Oh, so you're on that Baylor model.
Yeah. If I can do that, like if I've got 8.5 guys in my rotation, I'm happy.
Although Baylor's probably close to 7.5. But
if you get to 9, you're kind of messing with guys' minutes a little bit, and you certainly can't go more than 9. I don't think. You're right. It's February 17th, March 8th for Iowa and Nebraska.
So it is backloaded.
Yeah. It's February 17th, and the last game of the season is Iowa. That's senior night.
God. Yeah, those are two good hiring cycles.
You know who I don't want to face once they've been doing this all year?
St. John?
Iowa.
No, believe me.
Like they didn't do Nebraska any favors. However much I like Iowa now, if they stay healthy, they will be that much better by the end of the year.
What are you going to change about Creighton?
I start Josh Dix at point guard immediately. That's for number 1. This ain't it. Like the Graves thing ain't it.
I don't know. You better figure out a way to play Jason Green at the 4.
Well, if you got to figure out how.
I get the small 5 thing, but you can't. Well, you're not going to be able to clean the glass good enough.
Here's the problem: is you got to make sure that Owen Freeman can play 25 minutes a night before you can put Jason Green at the 4. Because if Owen Freeman can't play 25 minutes a night, you can't play Jason at the 4.
Do you think he's hurt still, or working his way back?
I think he's working his way back. I also know like meniscuses are tricky, man. Like you sort of fix it, but you're not really.
I know.
You're just cleaning it up.
And it's never going to feel like you want it to.
It's never going to feel right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like it's not that whether he's healthy or not, it's is he able to work his way back in shape? Like just because you're clear doesn't mean you're 100%. Like I think that's the thing we mistake sometimes. Like medically cleared means, okay, he's not in danger of hurting it anymore. Back to 100% is a totally different thing. He's clearly not at 100%. He has flashes where he seems like he feels okay, but I also don't know, like, it's probably partly a pain management thing. I'm sure there's some swelling involved. Like, you just have to figure that out. I think he's working his way back, but he's got to be able to play 25 minutes a night if you want to play Jason at the 4.
I mean, Mass took the year off, and he's logging about 28, I think, right now.
He had the whole year off.
Oh.
So, like, you're condensing this timetable on Owen Freeman pretty dramatically. You've got to get 20, 25 minutes a night out of that guy. Otherwise,
St. John looked better to you yesterday?
Yeah, they looked better yesterday. I mean, listen, my only hope here.
I know you guys didn't love that Iowa State officiating. I'm just telling you that's how they're going to defend in the Big East.
Well, and that's the thing that I hate. Like, I hate when basketball's played that way, but it is what it is. Like, I'm a freedom of movement, like let guys play. And like, if you can't defend without fouling, then you should be punished for it. But I also understand that's not how they call things in the Big East, right? I understand that Iowa State's going to play that way. So like my personal preferences don't matter to what's actually going to happen, right? So yeah, Creighton's got to figure out a way to play against that level of defense and that level of that type of officiating. And I don't think Graves is up for it. I just don't. I think that's a 6th or 7th man off the an off the bench guy. Like you maybe microwave him a little bit, see if you can get spurts here. If he's playing well, he gets more minutes. If he doesn't play well, he sees the bench. Maybe he's the half, if I'm being honest. Like maybe
Oh,
he's
in the
the half of
rotation?
the 8.5,
Yeah.
where you go, hey, if he's playing well, he might play 20 minutes tonight. If he's not playing well, he's getting 4. Like you give him a couple stretches to see if he's feeling it. And if he's not, it's Austin Schwartz time or it's Fedor Zugic time or whatever. Like, I don't think you can count on him to have the ball in his hands as much as they have early. That's my first number one fix.
So you're going to be thankful for.
I'm thankful that when Mac pulled the red shirt out of Hudson Greer, he's like, you're playing. Because that was my concern. My concern was he would pull it and get like 8 minutes a night. And I was like, what was the point of that?
You're not thankful for Sam Hoiberg playing competitive, meaningful minutes?
Listen, I'm not Logan.
Logan is a cynic. Austin, thank you for coming in. Are you going to be thankful for rest after your high school stint?
Yes.
Yes.
But I still have to put together our Thanksgiving show that will be going live tomorrow. And we'll have
will there be any of your high school clips? Will you insert yourself in the Giving Thanks show?
Oh, my highlight reel, you mean? There's not enough on there, unfortunately. Got a lot of backup playing time, JV time, but yeah, I don't have any.
Well, speaking more to yesterday.
Oh, those guys? Yeah, no, we've got plenty of stuff. In fact, I'm just sending it all out right now, so that way we can get some more of that out. But yeah, good stuff from the past couple of days.
We put together a Thanksgiving food draft. Rico and I drafted. If you're taking a number 1 overall pick, Thanksgiving food, where are you going?
Is this a traditional thing? Or?
Yeah, we're mostly traditional food. Yeah. I let Rico go. He said there was some.
I'm a rib roast guy, but
listen, I'm not a turkey guy. The meats we said were ham or turkey were acceptable.
With the first pick, I'm taking ham.
That's what Rico did. I was very, very mad because I lost the rock, paper, scissors for the first pick.
I've got to go ham.
I don't know why you don't take stuffing first. I'm a huge stuffing guy.
Are you kidding?
I love stuffing.
So
stuffing didn't even get picked.
That's embarrassing.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm not even going to kid you about the stuffing thing. My mom makes a sausage stuffing, and if it doesn't have huge chunks of sausage, which probably defeats the purpose of stuffing,
no,
I don't like it.
Put the protein in, much better. Much better.
But she's lost kind of her spicy palate, but when she used to use spicy sausage, I would actually dabble with the stuffing, but there is no real. The food on Thanksgiving is extremely
overrated.
It's overrated.
What's your number 1 side?
If I was going to eat it?
Yeah.
Without question, mashed potatoes.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you love mashed potatoes. Big mashed potatoes guy.
Strawberry pretzel salad. That's best.
What?
Mm.
What? Mm-hmm. Did you? The 3 words you just said don't go together.
Strawberry pretzel salad, man.
It sounds it's made up.
Well, as most things are, they are made up. Yes, correct, DB.
Is that a Western Nebraska thing? What is that?
Probably just white person thing, I can tell you that you want the ingredients for it.
I'm guessing strawberry pretzels and lettuce.
No. It's not actual salad.
Oh, it's a Midwestern salad, so it's like Cool Whip.
Yeah, it's like layered. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got pretzels on the bottom. You like press them all down and you bake them. So that way that's like, your crust. Then you get some Cool Whip. You like put it all over the top.
Some whip.
And then you get the big Jello guy DB over here. You get the strawberry Jello and you put that all on top, all set, bring it out. It's the perfect little sweetness to everything going on at Thanksgiving.
That's horrifying.
That's 100% like somebody just had a whole bunch of leftover stuff and they're like, you know what? Let's put this all together in a pan. And somebody's like, oh, this looks good. And then they started eating it and they're like, you know what? We'll do this every year.
It's like a Snicker salad, not actually salad.
Given my druthers, I would smoke just a bone-in turkey breast, maybe the wings. I would do a rib roast. It's not going in the oven. I'm going to put that on probably the low smoke, then sear it off at the end, and ham. And 1 big scoop of mashed potatoes with some grated Gouda cheese in there.
There you go.
And I would be...
You a gravy guy?
No.
Okay.
No. I think people made up gravy to cover up taste. I don't...
Yeah, people made up gravy because turkey's bad. So you have to have something to make it edible.
I don't know. I'm not going to spend much time putting anything in the oven.
There you go. That's DB's Thanksgiving meal.
That's it.
If you want to catch
my man said strawberry pretzel salad. But
I like how we just looked at it and we're like, what? I'm sorry, what?
Why don't you call it it's not a salad, so why do you call it a salad?
I don't know. I mean, just tradition, I guess.
Was that your mom or dad's side of the family?
That's mom. Mom listen, Angie runs a tight ship on Thanksgiving.
Does she really?
Yeah, she's been running this thing for like 10 years now. She invites who she wants, and she also assigns dishes to you. I'm making cranberry salsa tonight. That's my thing.
What is cranberry salsa?
Okay, we're just making up.
No. Cranberry salsa is legit. It's actually really good.
Is it salsa?
Yeah.
Okay, because we were confused. I thought it might be another salad situation.
No. This is legit salsa.
It's just cranberry sauce.
So you take cranberries
with some pepper. That's a big
pepper out there. White people are like, oh, that's salsa.
No, that's Dr. Fiance. Two different things. All right.
Oh, bus roll.
Why is it spicy? Why is it spicy? No, you take the cranberries. Take the cranberries, you like get them all finely chopped and everything, salsa-ish, right? Like salsa.
So you're using fresh cranberries?
Fresh cranberries, yes.
Okay.
And then you get some very good hot jalapenos in there. Dice them up, put them in, and then a little green onion, a little bit of just a hint of sugar just to sweeten it up, and then you put it on top of maybe some cream cheese or anything else that you want to serve it up with. I love it. I think it's great.
It's like pepper jelly.
A little bit, yeah. It's a little looser than that, but yeah.
Mm. Absolutely not.
The cream cheese butter.
What's the vehicle? Is it like brioche?
Oh, I drive an Equinox. that'll get me to Kearney.
What do you put the cranberry salsa on?
Oh, cream cheese. Just said that. Yeah.
But
you can use like chips, but you can use like I use like wheat thins and stuff. You use it that way.
So you're just putting the salsa on cream cheese and eating it?
Yeah.
Like with a spoon?
No, I just said with like wheat thins and stuff.
Oh, with a cracker.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, that was offensive to me, but that's fine.
On a what? On a wheat thin with some Cool Whip?
Yeah, I can say it.
No, wheat thins are crackers. I don't know what you want me to say.
Stop saying you're not allowed to say that, Robbie. You can't look at me and say that word.
Can I just close the show on this?
It does seem like you're putting a little extra emphasis on it when you look at him.
Who's more apt to survive? You at my cookout or me at your house?
I would 100% get myself in trouble at your house.
Tyrone!
Do you have any cousins named Tyrone?
There's a slip of the tongue. And I have yet to be able to defend myself. What happened there?
Oh, that's not what I thought he was going to say. I would 100 well played.
Is that not accurate?
No,
that is
I'm
the most
kind
accurate.
of inclined to agree.
Thank you.
DB's adaptable. He likes a small town life. He'd be all right.
I would talk a lot of Western Nebraska at the Benning house. A lot of Western Nebraska.
I'm telling you though, you watch. Within the next month, you're going to find me at Why Not, and you're going to make fun of me. I'm going to tweet it out. I'm going to be eating at the den or something with Coach
Why Not?
Rams. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I just want to go. I just want to hang out. I want to go see the Twins.
Oh yeah, it's good. I mean, listen, it might be a Why Not St. Mary's basketball final too, so you might as well get used.
Well,
to
I mean, that's what they've been doing the last handful of years, right? In the state final, volleyball, basketball, and football.
Hey, you want the quote of the state finals, and then you can wrap up the show however you wish.
What do we got?
JP's here too, so that way he'll love this.
The dog.
So
can I pet that dog?
Why not? Why Not wins on the game-sealing touchdown with the guys sitting down with Cook sitting down in the end zone, right?
Yeah.
I go and ask Brummer afterward, and you can find this on NEB Prep, so if you want to go find it. I asked Brummer, I go, what'd you see? And he goes, well, I scrambled out, didn't know where he was, and I threw it up, and between me and the Lord, Cotner found it or whatever and landed there. Well, Why Not are the Blue Devils,
right?
And then they beat the private school. So between the Blue Devils, the Lord,
the halo around the cardinal as the logo
for St. Mary's.
Incredible. So just the quote of the year from Devin Brummer.
He caught it on his tush.
Yeah,
that's a dot.
See how he threw it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also,
perfectly
unbelievable throw.
How about Cook not crying about getting mauled?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no, he probably didn't have time. He's like, oh my God, this guy's holding me.
Right.
Oh, there's a takedown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a seat.
Oh, look, a ball. Look what I found.
From the heavens.
And that wasn't even the best catch of the 48 hours.
Yeah,
no, that St. Mary's one-hander.
EB's was
phenomenal. That was silly.
Yeah. Was that the one-hander?
Yeah.
Annis had a nice one too.
Now
for,
I know.
For East.
I know that somewhere. Ben Barlow, he's the number one receiver for St. Mary's. I know he's like, that could have been me. I could have done
Barlow's pretty sweet.
Barlow's real good.
Yeah, that dude's pretty sweet.
We can talk 8-man ball more if you want, Ravi.
Always small town ball.
Hey, how interesting is it that I told you that Zach is the dude in that offense?
100%.
I mean, Amarion is sensational.
Yeah.
Like, he is.
Why do you think I went? I want to talk to him last night.
But Zach getting to patrol the middle. That's why I said if you had to draw it up and get good players, take safeties over corners if you want to beat Millard South.
Yep.
Because you need something for Zach. That little dude is a smooth operator in the middle, and that offense is built for those guys on those routes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a handful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, tomorrow we will have our special Thanksgiving show that we pre-recorded. Friday, Rico and I will be here with pregame and postgame before and after the Iowa game. So we will start that at 9.
Don't you mean it's going to be live?
Well, you could listen to us on the radio
live.
network at 7.
Tomorrow's super live.
Tomorrow's show is super live.
DB will be on the radio network starting at 7. Rico and I will be here digitally starting at 9, and then we'll have Hail Varsity postgame show for you as well. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We appreciate you being a part of the show every day, and we will talk to you definitely not recorded tomorrow, and then we'll talk to you on Friday as well. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Chevrolet Buick. Give thanks and get driving. Save $3,300 off MSRP plus 0.9% APR on any 2025 Buick and Vista Preferred. Or sign and drive for just $339 a month. Bold looks, everyday luxury. Or lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT starting at $349 a month with 0 down. Compact size and ready for the season. This Black Friday sales event won't last. Hurry to Edwards Chevrolet Buick.